Hello. I was all ready, except that I didn't get my mic. Now. The obtruse one, I can tell they read my Twitter. I remember to full screen this time. So after yesterday's scrambling in a red alert situation shambles, I made it here on time today. I special iron. Could have got here sooner if I cut out that fourth round of toast. Hi, Robert Mason. Hi, Mud Valve. Hey ho, Pip and Dandy. Hi, Sticks. I was hoping to start a little early today, but I'd lost a little track of time. I was watching Philip DeFranco video. His video ran a little later than I thought it would. But I think I made it just about on time. Hi, Shamrock Particle. Hi, Daryl. Everyone's here, including Tara. She answered me. She went, eh? Breaking out the third monitor so I can full screen because I hurt my shoulder and deserve a treat. There you go. Sorry to hear you hurt your shoulder, though. That's a bummer. Hope it's not too bad. I tried to catch up with yesterday's stream that I missed. I got as far as just about to start Terraform. Yeah, I don't remember exactly when you joined, but yeah, I was a little ways in. I think you missed 2 episodes. So back into the Dinaverse. Why are you talking into a candle? Oh, that's right, you did think it was. I don't know why you would think it looks like a candle. Hi, Random Squad. Back after I don't know how long I've been gone from your streams. Okay, well, I guess I'll go ahead and get started. Try setting the mic on fire just to confuse him. I think I'll turn this up a tiny bit. Let me know if it's too loud, like if you can't hear me over it at all. I played back the stream yesterday. It like you could hear my speaker a little too much, I think. So continuing this look at the cat. I don't even have that shirt anymore. Season 3 shows Cat gradually becoming a legitimate member of the crew, even a borderline valued member of the crew, and even becomes a pilot. He doesn't do a whole lot of piloting this season, but it's shown that he's capable of it if while under supervision. This is also the point where he stops doing over-the-top cat things like licking people and obsessing over fish, and his catness is more along the lines of just his general attitude and dress.
Do you think Wilma's sexy?
Backwards opens up with a Wilma Flintstone discussion. I said this before, but I feel like it's a little out of character for Kat to be that familiar with the Flintstones, at least this early in the series. I could see him having heard of it, maybe watched a few episodes, but I don't know, maybe I'm just being weird.
This is an insane conversation. She'll never leave Fred, and we know it.
It is a cute scene, and there isn't really any point in overanalyzing it. I do like that he's in Lister's bed again, forcing Lister to sit on Rimmer's bed. Like, how often do cat owners settle for a less comfortable chair just to avoid disturbing the cat? That's what it makes me think of. Yep.
Big on, buddy. Look on the bright side. They're gone, buddy.
However, Cat does show a very season 1 and 2 attitude once Rimmer and Crichton disappear.
Don't you care about anyone but yourself? Hell no. I don't even care about you.
I don't know if we
Like
can
I said
hear
in
you
the
over
intro
yourself.
Video, that makes me cringe a little.
Pretty much.
Fortunately, he does grow out of this for the most part and begins to focus his indifference mainly on Rimmer like everyone else.
God, don't even
Also,
get me
he
started
parts
on the
his
Wilma
leg hair.
Flintstone
Only as an
thing.
aid to the natural curl.
How does that even work?
Turn it down a little on my end. That'll hopefully help with the...
He's not wrong,
Audio issue.
though that's not what Lister meant.
An orange whirly thing in space. We're going in. Are you crazy? You can't go in there. Orange with this suit?
What are you talking about? Everything goes with black. Cat doesn't do
Right.
a whole lot in this episode that's all that memorable. Mainly he acts as Lister's sidekick and makes asshole-ish comments.
Bye, suckers. You lost your bye.
Come to think of it, though, he does do one cat thing.
Stop him.
Well, backwards cat thing.
Don't ask.
Okay, so there is a book loosely based on this episode, which I have not read, but apparently it reveals another cat-like thing about Cat that falls very much into the TMI, not to mention the not safe for work.
Oh god, here we go with the TMI cat discussions.
In case you didn't know, a male cat has barbs on its... Mother Nature just played a really cruel joke on female cats, okay? You know how a female cat makes a lot of noise and then attacks the male afterwards?
Wow, I really showed that, didn't
Yeah,
I?
it's because mating is excruciating for them. Seriously, what the fuck, Nature? Anyway, in the backwards novel, it's revealed that Cat has that feature, and some poor human woman finds out the hard way. And that's why I haven't read it and don't plan to, because yikes. Anyway, I consider that particular thing to be non-canon to the show because in season
That isn't the
4,
only
Cat
reason,
brags
but it's
about
part of
being
it.
able to thrust really fast, and the point of the barbs is to keep it in one place. So those two.
God,
things
why do I
don't
keep
go
showing it? I mean, I guess I
Okay,
needed
enough
to,
of
but
Yeah, I'm just taking the bare
it was like the
essentials.
Discovery Channel.
Change of clothing and 10 full-length dress mirrors.
Cat has very little screen time in Marooned, naturally, since it's a Rimmer and Lister episode. But I can't help but notice how happy he is when he and Crichton find them, and even says that he was worried.
I've been so worried, I haven't buffed my shoes for 2 days.
That's a hell of a turnaround for backwards, so to speak.
Something smells good. What is it? It's me. I love this aftershave.
It's easy to miss, but notice this bit in Polymorph when Crichton exits a room while Cat enters and they high-five each other as they pass. It's really subtle because the show usually pairs Cat up with Lister and Crichton with Rimmer, but in the brief scenes when Cat and Crichton are together, they get along super well. It probably helps that Crichton tends to be non-judgmental, so he isn't as appalled by Cat's behavior as the others can be, and I'm sure Cat appreciates that.
I'm supposed to cut my food with a scalpel? Something that's been inside
Oh,
someone's
this
guts.
bit.
Anyway, Cat shows disgust at Lister serving dinner with medical supplies,
You think I got nothing better to do than hang around watching you serve chicken chassa in a stool bucket?
which kind of goes against some of his more animalistic qualities in the first 2 seasons. I like to think that that just means that he's matured a bit and is adapting to being around humans.
Excuse me.
Well, humans that aren't as gross as Lister. And a little bit later, he shows some concern for Lister.
Are you okay?
Seriously, I know it's just 3 words, but I think Cat saying, "Is he okay?" shows a lot of growth for him. Consider that in season 2, he saw Lister passed out on the floor and just marked him and moved on, and later refused to help him because he was too busy having lunch. Speaking of Cat's growth, this is the first time we see him using a bazookoid. Well, technically it's the first time we see anyone using a bazookoid, but can you imagine them trusting Cat with a weapon in the first 2 seasons? And he shows later on that he becomes pretty damn good with one.
Holograms don't produce heat, and neither do androids. What are they homing in on?
Anyway, we see some cat-like agility as he's avoiding getting hit by heat-seeking projectiles. Because Cat is hot. No argument there. Anyway, it's mostly played for laughs, but some of these moves are impressive. Not to mention how he lures them into some kind of elevator shaft.
Got it or you ain't. Boys, you ain't even close.
At this point, the polymorph shows up in the form of a female cat. I honestly didn't get at first that this was supposed to be a female cat due to the lack of canines, but the overly ornate hair and clothes give it away.
It's dangerous. It can turn into anything.
By the way, how dumb is Cat that he doesn't think anything of it when a female cat suddenly shows up out of nowhere? I wonder if he still holds any delusions that there are still other cats on the ship. I suppose I could partly explain it. Either way, she lays on the compliments super thick to appeal to his vanity.
I'd really like to make love to a guy like you.
Like a kid at Christmas.
Hi. I'm the cat.
I never thought about it before,
Face
but I think
lights
he
up.
just confirmed that he doesn't have a name other than what the crew calls him.
Oh my goodness!
I probably said this when I covered this episode, but I love Crichton petting him. That's precious. Anyway, what happens to Cat when he loses his vanity? He becomes a homeless guy. Technically, he becomes someone who has no self-esteem and doesn't care what he looks like, so he wears rags and drinks all the time.
Don't ask me my opinion. I'm nobody. Just feel I'm not here.
Which translates to basically the same thing visually.
What am I wearing? If I don't get into some coordinated evening wear.
Coordinated evening wear is a good description of how he normally dresses.
It is.
Sequence initiated.
On to body swap. I love his flat delivery of this line.
That was a very dumb thing you just did there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad when even Kat knows you did something stupid.
It's Lister's mind.
Yeah, if you want something important kept safe, give it to Kat. That's never a bad idea. He and River both have a great reaction to that.
We haven't got a bulb.
Why didn't you say?
You never asked.
But remember this. You're getting my underwear bill, buddy.
One thing about Kat is that he makes a lot of those brown trousers sort of comments. Actually, there were even a couple in tongue-tied that I didn't think to point out before. I kind of get a kick out how that contrasts with how pretty and elegant he looks.
That's my special report.
It won't be special in a minute.
And if you're a cat owner, you probably know how true to life that is. They're usually clean and pretty, but they can also be gross. There's also a rare moment of Cat getting his comeuppance. He sees what looks like Lister dressed as Rimmer and questions him about it with a string of insults aimed at Rimmer.
Oh, hi, Blueberry Raz. I don't think I saw you earlier.
Can't Rimmer for?
Because
Only to find out the hard way that it is Rimmer in Lister's body. I love Cat, but he
Squishing
does push his
sound.
luck a lot, so when he gets his comeuppance, it's hilarious. The fact that it's so rare makes it even more funny when it does happen. Classic moment where they're playing Scrabble and Cat tries to use a cat word.
It's the sound you make when you get your sexual organs trapped in something. But you got
Who knows if it's real or if he just made it up as a way to use the obscure letters.
If you're reading in the nude and you close the book too quick.
So Lister, who is in Rimmer's body, needs to fly Blue Midget, so he
Hi,
wants
Lone
to
Man.
switch bodies with Cat.
I'll do it.
Instead, Cat proves that he can pilot a spaceship, thank you very much. And here Rimmer pulls a prank on Lister that Cat laughs at. He may hate Rimmer, but if Rimmer is being funny at Lister's expense, Cat's not opposed to joining in on the mocking. Maybe Crichton's laughing is a little out of character, but oh well. Poor Cat becomes another victim of Rimmer's body stealing,
Plastic Percy here puts a sponge on my face and out go the lights.
but at least we get to see him do this. Even if it's technically Rimmer doing it. That's just a great visual. And time slides.
Yes, 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 yes.
Cat makes an annoying opponent, imagine that. But apparently he and Lister play immature games
Junior
all the time.
angler.
stretching a pair of tights across the room and playing Durex volleyball.
And I think that's kind of cute.
Unicycle polo.
Fun fact, Danny John Jules can ride a unicycle. Add that to dancing, juggling, roller skating, and singing. We don't get to see him do that one on the show. Yet. Anyway, the whole owner-pet dynamic has mostly gone away, though it occasionally crops up in subtle ways, and they mostly come across like BFFs now. Apparently in real life, Craig Charles and Danny John Jules were drinking buddies, and I think it helps their characters' chemistry.
Yeah.
Don't come running to me next time you want someone to play soapsud slalom down the cargo ramp.
Later on, Lister figures out how
Soapsud
to get into
slalom.
a photograph with snow in it, and check out those cat-like reflexes.
Meaning?
I just want to point out that Cat is reading a Marilyn Monroe magazine here.
Who is that jerk?
Cat
But
is
the only other
definitely
thing
into
Cat
Marilyn
does is
Monroe.
make fun of Lister's younger self.
Look at that collar. You can go hang gliding. The guy's an idiot. It's me.
I want to see the unicycle thing.
And then get retconned for a while. I still hate that Lister does that to him and Crichton.
Hey, what is this?
In the last day,
Build it yourself.
Marilyn
man.
Monroe
Go
again.
for it.
here's another Marilyn Monroe scene. I mean, it could just be general curiosity, but I like to think that it caught his interest because Marilyn Monroe. And then he asks this.
You think he'll try and seduce her?
Just plastic underpants and a trademark.
I mean, he's got no. How does he write his name in the snow?
I love Lister's reaction, like, you really ask the hard-hitting questions, Cat. During Crichton's going-away party, Cat is
Come on, sit down. Let me pour you a drink.
almost uncharacteristically friendly towards him. I mean, everyone is being super nice to him, really, and that show of camaraderie is what I love about this episode, but
Give him the presents.
when even Cat is doing it, you gotta know that Crichton is well-loved. And the bit where Crichton gets his gift
That's
is
so
just
cute.
adorable.
It's one of your earrings.
That's right.
It's the one you really hate.
Cat is just so tickled about it, despite it being such
Oh,
a
hi,
lame
Flash.
gift.
Almost didn't
but
see
I
you.
think that Crichton gets how rare it is for Cat to be even that generous, so while his thank you comes across as a little condescending,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think he means it. They both look so happy, it just makes me all warm and fuzzy. Also, Cat comes across as a lot more worldly than he did the first two seasons.
It's all right, buddy. It's all part of being drunk. You've been through the happy stage, now you're going through the melancholy stage.
He's basically able to hold his own in any casual conversation now and isn't just hanging out in the same room with everyone without paying attention to what's going on. Again, I think that's the others rubbing off on him. He's definitely one of the gang now.
It's not a good night unless you get a traffic cone. It's the policewoman's helmet and the suspenders I don't understand.
My favorite part is that
Yeah,
while
where
they
did
do
that
all
come
agree
from?
to defend Crichton, Kat is the first one to speak up about it.
Hey, we're supporting you, man. There's one of him and 4 of us, right?
This could either be part of how he's one of them now, or the fact that he and Crichton get along really well, as I mentioned earlier, or it could be a little of both.
But if he thinks he can mix it with the Red Dwarf posse on their homeboy Tariff, the sucker's leaving a scrap metal.
Then again, I guess any excuse to wield a bazookoid like a badass is a good one. Of course, like everyone else, he chokes once he sees what they're actually up against.
Hi. Good trip? You look like you back up?
So even though we don't know what happened to the second arc of Cats, there is evidence that they made it far enough to interact with other ships. This android knows what Cat is, though it's a misspelling. His race is usually called Felis sapiens, and here it's Felix sapiens. Felis sapiens is such a cool name, though. I thought it might be obscure enough that I could borrow it for my own characters, but it's got a Wikipedia article making it less obscure than I thought, so that'd be a bad idea. Cat's makeup is mostly unchanged, except
I was
that I think
100%
there's
going
less
to
of it
steal
around the
Felis
eyes and
sapiens
such.
for Cyber
But
Cats,
his wardrobe and hairstyles are all over the place. You can tell that the creators picked this season to start experimenting with his look a lot more. So in general, gone are the palette-swapped Cab Calloway-inspired suits. And I don't know if there's a straightforward way to describe his outfits in this season overall, because they differ from each other so much. And one of the very few cases of them reusing one is in the opening of Backwards, where he's wearing the robe and rollers in his hair from Thanks for the Memory. After that, he's wearing this outfit that is all black and gold. Glittery gold shirt paired with loose-fitting black pants tucked into black boots, with this black waist-length fuzzy jacket with tassels on the shoulders and some big gold pins with chains running between them. There's also a colorful vest that's almost hidden. Again, he's really good at adding just enough color and bling with a lot of black to balance it out. Also, can we talk about Kat's hair in this episode? It's kind of full just on top, and the rest is pulled back into a long French braid with a couple of gold beads of some kind woven into it. Man, this is a beautiful hairstyle, and this is the only time he ever wears it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Kat has very little screen time in maroon, so it's hard to get a really good look at what he's wearing, but parts of it show up again in later seasons. Again, I'm no expert on fashion, but I think he bends a fashion rule here, but he makes it work. He's wearing a shirt, tie, vest, and jacket, and each has a different print. I think there's a rule about mixing prints, but in this case, it's all in black and white, which kind
literally
of
not
brings it all
enough footage of
together.
this outfit.
He has it paired with what I'm pretty sure are black velvet leggings and boots. I wish we got a better look at it, because I'm pretty sure he never wears leggings again. Also, there's a big pin on the jacket's lapel, but it's hard to see. Later on, we see the outfit again with an oversized black and white fur coat and hat added, and the hat has a big pin on it. The hat and coat returns pretty much whenever they're in a really cold environment. I think the coat makes its last appearance in Season 9. His hair is also interesting. It looks a bit similar to the previous episode, but instead of forming a braid in the back, it's kind of in a loose ponytail secured with a claw clip. In the beginning of Polymorph,
that is a
we see
claw
him wear
clip, isn't
leopard
it? I was
print for the
trying to
first
figure out
time.
his hair just now.
Leopard print is so appropriate for him. Because you know that cats have delusions of being big, powerful predators, but really they're just adorable little goofballs. That's kind of Cat in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a longish jacket that's kind of thick-looking, paired with a sparkly gray shirt
Oh
with
yeah,
a
George
matching
isn't
tie
here
and
yet.
maybe a vest, too. It's a little hard to see. We can't see the pants too well, but I'm pretty sure they're black. His hair is basically a throwback to seasons 1 and 2 with a slightly fuller ponytail. In fact, if I don't mention his hair after this point, that's why, since it's kind of his default style for this season, whenever the makeup department doesn't decide to do something different with it. His outfit later on is kind of disco-y. I'm not crazy about it, but the lighting they use for this scene does hit it in an interesting way. Anyway, it's a metallic silver jacket with fringe. Why do they make leather look metallic? That's just wrong. And I stand corrected, he is wearing black leggings again here, with black boots that have some kind of silver metal detailing and some kind of knee guards as well.
That's unusual.
I can't make out the shirt too well, but I'm pretty
Even
sure
for
it's
Cat.
black. He's also wearing a black headband with silver trim, and I'm not a fan of this hairstyle. I'm not going to talk about Cat's homeless look because it just kind of speaks for itself, but I will point out that he's wearing comical bedroom slippers, just because it's easy to miss and is probably the funniest part of it. In the beginning of Body
The
Swap,
tails.
he's wearing probably one of my favorite outfits. It's a silver and black
that
zebra
one.
print jacket with a plain black shirt and pants. Also a silver seashell pin on the lapel, and a huge silver earring in the shape of a fish skeleton. This must have come out during that time in the 80s when it was fashionable to wear one long earring. Also the sea theme with the fish skeleton and seashell is kind of clever. His hair is almost season 1 and 2, but the ponytail is a bit longer and it's secured with something silver in the back
Lady
that's
Gaga
a little hard
casually
to make
playing
out,
in the
but I think it's
background.
cylinder shaped. Later on, he's
I guess
wearing
I have
a
the-
satin brown shirt with
I guess I
black
have
trim
the
and black
volume
pants.
too low on my
Later, he
end. I
adds
can't
a
really hear it.
waist-length leopard print jacket. Also, his hair is mostly just down in the back. I don't think that looks good with how stiff it is. Also, I can't help but notice that when he's piloting the ship, he wears the headset
Ray.
with the band hanging under so as not to mess up his hair. In time slides, he's first seen wearing that golf outfit from Better Than Life again. I guess he really takes this little tabletop golf game seriously. The only other outfit he wears in time slides is this paisley shirt with a black vest with some kind
I
of
like
print
this outfit.
on it that's kind of hard to make out, and black pants. Later on, he adds, oh god, another metallic leather jacket with fringe. This time it's gold and has some black fur on the shoulders. Also, this amazing hat. I have no idea what you'd call this sort of hat, but it's unique. There's a pin on it that I think is a gold leopard or something. Somehow this outfit is less offensive to me than the one with the silver jacket. I think it's because there's more black on it, so it's a bit better balanced. Could also be that the lighting isn't causing the jacket to look like it's radioactive. Also, now you can see that the pants have gold trim on them. Also, his hair looks mostly season 1 and 2, but it's got a French braid down the back again. Unlike in Backwards, though, it's a short braid. In the last day, he starts off wearing plaid, which I normally don't like when it's more than 2 colors, but it's usual he pulls it off. Anyway, the jacket is different shades of red and blue, though due to being plaid, it looks purplish from a distance, and it's paired with a black shirt and a black sparkly vest. That tie is also plaid, but mostly red, with a matching handkerchief. Hard to see the pants, but I think they match the jacket. Come to think of it, plaid aside, it's a bit season 1 and 2-ish. At Crichton's party, Cat actually wears a black tux just like everyone else. How unusual. Though there is some bling in his ponytail and his tie is a bit more colorful. His final outfit is almost all red. Red satin shirt with lots of gold chains, red and black waist-length fur coat, with red satin
Hi,
pants
Adam.
and a gold stripe on the sides. The only thing I don't like are the metallic gold boots. Yikes, too much.
And
I
Isaiah.
should have mentioned this earlier, but I'm just kind of noticing it at the last minute here. While Kat's default hairstyle for Season 3 is similar to Seasons 1 and 2, it's actually kind of side-swept, and at times there's a little suggestion of bangs. I don't know how I missed that before, but there you go. In Season 4, Kat is still dumb, but in a regular dumb person way, and not so much a cartoon cat in a human suit kind of way.
Cartoon cat in a human suit. That's a good way to describe Cat in season 1. Okay, I'm halfway through this. Let me get caught up on the chat. I think the last time... Oh, wait. As the Inquisitor was erased, you think it was all caught up by Promised Land? I don't remember. I think the last time I was at a stream was when Walmart canceled your espresso baking chip order. That's so funny that you remembered that. God, those espresso chips are so good. Yeah, I was really mad because Lee doesn't like anything coffee flavored, so I can't ever make the chocolate cookies with espresso chips when he's here. So when he was about to go out of town, I wanted to order the espresso baking chips, and they were out, and I was so mad. I ended up making chocolate cookies with white chocolate chips, which is actually really good, but yeah. I'm up to the point where Tara jumped on the back of my chair for like a second. They gone, buddy. Oh yeah, that probably is the first time he said something about a orange whirly thing in space. It's like the Discovery Channel. I think I saw that earlier. Have a theory. What if Cat doesn't have claws, as he is the first cat to be truly humanoid, as he is the first? I don't know where you get that he's the first cat to be humanoid. They had to have been humanoid before him because they built a ship. Excuse me. Cats probably lost their claws because they didn't need them living in a ship built for humans. What makes that scene in the book even more awkward is that the sex was going backwards. Yeah, I've read that. It's only one scene in the book, but you're not missing anything with backward or last human. That's funny. Most people recommend them. I know so little about cats, which is a big disadvantage in understanding the cat in the show. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, if you're a cat owner, you recognize a lot of cat qualities in him. Bob Grant and Doug Naylor on their own aren't quite as great. Maybe. Until you brought it up, I never questioned the presence of the cow syringe on the ship, too busy being amused. That's the funny thing about Red Dwarf. They throw in these random things and you're so, like, focused on the comedy of it, you don't think, wait, that's kind of weird. Androids don't produce heat. Yeah, you would think Crichton could, I mean, yeah, you'd think he would to some degree. Maybe not, like, equivalent to, maybe not up to, like, 98.6 or whatever, but you'd think he would produce some heat. Maybe they just meant that he doesn't produce a lot of it. I always like Jenny's earrings. Yeah, I think they look like Chinese dragons or something. That's what it makes me think of anyway. I think everyone's right except me. That'd be a funny thing to just randomly say in a meeting. I think everyone is right except me. Don't listen to me. I don't know anything. I'm already forgetting the exact wording he used, but yeah. I'm up to the point where the lone man showed up. Just came on, and thank God I didn't miss this stream. No such thing as a brown alert. You won't be saying that in a minute. Don't say I didn't alert you. That's one of my favorite. That might be my favorite brown trousers comment. How is things, Dina? Pretty good. I'm low on money, obviously, hence why I'm doing a sort of a donation drive here, but other than that, things are going well. I'm working directly for the company I was working for. Well, before I was a temp, now I work for them directly, and I get insurance and stuff like that, which is nice. Benefits is what I was trying to say. I finished a really bad watercolor painting recently, or last night actually, and I posted a picture of it on Facebook, and I mentioned I hated it, and people are being all nice. I probably did sound dramatic, but I was being a little bit, facetious. I said something like, this painting is a disaster and I'm never touching watercolor again. I think sometimes people don't get that I'm half joking when I say stuff like that, but... Jizzix-kit is a great cat word. Yeah. You notice he says it a little different every time he says it. This guy is hot, 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 hot. That's a good thing to say if you're beating someone at a game and you want to rub their nose in it. I think I already reacted to this, but still want to see footage of him on a unicycle. I do too. I want to see that. I've never really seen anyone ride a unicycle, I don't think. Well, I probably have at some point, but... Cat Scrabble would be interesting, yeah. Lots of made-up words. I like what the script says. The droid wouldn't fool anyone. Crichton. Enchanté, except anyone except Crichton, it seems. That's funny. Well, it's good that you're not wearing Sparehead 3 Special Iron. You'd be all cranky and speaking in a What kind of accent did Sparehead 3 have? It sounded, I want to say it sounded like Irish or something, or Scott. I don't know. Whatever accent that was. My usual smeggy self. I like that. You can still steal Felix Sapiens, though. I hear Felix and I immediately think of Felix the cat, so it sounds weird. By the way, did you all see that random clip I posted in Discord? As I'm having problems with servers and not sure if anyone thought the random video was any good. Oh yeah, I saw it. That was the one with the kid asking them what smeg means, and Robert and Charles all like fell off their chairs and then tried to crawl off the stage. Yeah, George showed up at some point yesterday. I think he donated as well. Yeah. The rule for mixing stripes is that they just can't be too similar in width. Thin pinstripes is fine with a shirt or tie that has thicker stripes. I can see that. Yeah, that makes sense. I know nothing about fashion except a couple of things when it comes to suits, specifically pinstripe suits, because that's what I like to wear. I love pinstripes. I think they look so cool. Dina speaks as a longtime cat owner, indeed. What rule of mixing stripes and spots? It wasn't actually stripes and spots. I think what I think I was thinking of was that when Kat was injured in the episode with Ace, and Kat was injured, and he was saying like, he was basically like, you could tell he was delirious because he was saying like. He was saying all kinds of like breaking all kinds of fashion rules with what he was imagining, and he said paisley with stripes, ooh, you know. And I think that was where I learned that you don't mix prints, but I think I've heard that other places too. Yeah, that random clip of the actors running away after being asked what does smeg mean on YouTube a while back. If Cat played Crash Bandicoot, he'd have a suit based on pinstripe poteru. I've never played Crash Bandicoot, so that's lost on me. But yeah, I like the idea of him dressing as the characters in the game he's playing. Red Dwarf USA was not great, but could work as its own thing. Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think it was terrible. It definitely needed some work, but so many varied outfits in this season. Yeah, they really did a lot of experimentation with Kat's look in this season. If you ask me, in some outfits Kat wears, it's a lot like the lead singers from the band Imagination. I've never heard of them. My mic is in the way of my keyboard. Oh, they wear suits, okay. Well, not always, though. There's some of them wearing some weird costumes. I guess I'll show you guys what I'm looking. Oh, well, no, it's not going to show up too well. Never mind, you all can look it up if you want to. I scrolled too far again, damn it. There we go. Funny that he has the same golfing outfit in real life that he wore in in the Better Than Life game, did he make it based on his perfect fantasy golf outfit, or did he find his real outfit couldn't be improved on? That's a good point. Yeah, it couldn't have literally been the same outfit, because that was Better Than Life wasn't real. Ah, well. Yeah, maybe he just liked it so much he made his own. Or the one in the game is based off one he already likes to wear. That's probably more likely it. I think I said hi to Adam and Isaiah. Welcome to a stream about outfits and hairstyles. It is at this point. Or it was at the point when you posted that. A red two-piece with a green undershirt and black tie, or a purple and black pinstripe suit with a white undershirt and a purple tie from those games. Oh, you're talking about the Crash Bandicoot again. He taught him that? That's terrific. So Lee can enjoy apple-flavored coffee? What? I don't know where you get that from. I just said he didn't like coffee. You know that Lee phones Walmart in advance and then left the house laughing like Muttley. Hi, Tolchok. Just got up, missed a good chunk of this. Well, you only missed about half of the first video, so you didn't really miss that much. Mostly just conversation. Random comment, but I still insist that the apple cider My Little Pony is alcoholic. How excited they get makes no sense if it isn't. Nobody gets that excited about apple juice. I mean, if the apples are really good, that's the whole point is that, you know, her special talent is apples, so she probably makes like really good apple cider. Also, there was the cat priest from Waiting for God. Yeah, I'm not sure why you're mentioning him, though. I saw Spoonie reference just this kid in one of his videos, and I was amused. Oh yeah, he's referenced Red Dwarf a couple times. It's not a Dina stream without heartburn. I guess I did have heartburn a few minutes ago. I almost don't notice it anymore. I get it so much. It's worth reading them, in my opinion, just to see the difference between their writing and comedy styles. It makes me wonder how the show would have gone if Rob Grant had continued it instead. Yeah, that definitely would have been interesting to see. Sloths would have been the only animal on backwards Earth that wouldn't look weird going backwards. That's true. I'm pretty sure of one thing, though. Kachansky wouldn't turn up, at least not as a regular. We need a Space Corps rule quote. There was at least one cow on the ship. The only problem was that it was dead. I assume they didn't kill it themselves when they added it to the T-Rex Vindaloo. T-Rex's Vindaloo. Has Lee tried non-coffee flavored coffee or milk in it? As far as I know, yeah, he just does not like coffee. I assume he's tried it multiple ways. I don't really push him about it. He never wants to try it, so. Some people just don't like coffee, as hard as that is to imagine for those of us who are coffee drinkers. I'm probably in the minority, but I always liked the original actress playing Kachansky much better. Anyone else? I don't think you're in the minority at all. I think most people seem to say that, but I could be wrong. But that's what I seem to remember. I like the original one better, me. I'm not saying you sound like that, just some of the comments do. Oh, right. We decided that the My Little Pony and Red Dwarf crossover took place in the Killer Rarity verse. Excuse me again. So would you like this beautiful butcher's knife or this fancy kitchen knife, Rimmer? Suddenly I'm very uncomfortable. I lived in Austin for several years. There was a guy who used to ride a 10-foot tall unicycle around town. Wow. Like, not even as a bit. That was just how he chose to get around. That's nuts. Yeah, I don't think it was, suddenly forgot her name. I don't think it was the actress's fault that Kachansky wasn't a good character. I think she was just badly written. Chloe Annette, or Annette, whatever, Chloe. Wasn't her fault, yeah. Oh, regarding Sparehead 3, it was a Northern English accent, maybe Yorkshire. According to one of the novels, it was apparently Lancashire, which is also up north. Interesting. Northern English, okay. Yeah, I don't know different English accents very well. Thanks to Lister, I know Liverpool, but like, I know Cockney, and that's about it. I agree, those shows always have a rough go with getting the writing down in the first season or two. Birmingham is in the middle of the country, so not too far comparatively from where I used to live. Glad you found the video funny. Yeah, that was a great reaction. I feel like I've maybe seen that before, but not in a long time. The part of the UK that nobody agrees on, its location and where it starts and ends. But I don't need any sympathy from the likes of him. Southerners refer to us as Northerners and vice versa. That's funny. Hi, Ash. Was lucky to see episodes from season 3 first, then seasons 1 and 2, where a treat with the full crew and more exposition of the characters. Luckily, I'm from Yorkshire, meaning that you can't argue that I'm not a Northerner. Wonder if you would ever do a kind of video, Den, of all the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV shows, as just wonder what your thoughts would be on that show. Like a game den style, a film den style video. You did say den. I assume you mean like film den. I suppose I could. I can't do the kind of videos where I do every single episode anymore because it's too time consuming and I just don't have time with my full-time job. I could theoretically do it. I really liked Ash vs. Evil Dead. I don't know if I'd ever get around to it though. Probably not. For what it's worth, I loved it though. I have zero interest in the new Evil Dead movie coming out. I don't know why. Like, it's got the over-the-top gore and everything, but it doesn't look like it has any comedy in it. I just don't see the point. Feels like some Evil Dead-inspired movie. Some movie somewhat inspired by Evil Dead. Anyway, I know that wasn't what you asked, but I just got off on a tangent there. Hi, big Metroid fan. I always enjoyed the episode Justice. Yeah, that's a good one. Wait, am I the only American here? No, there's a couple Americans, but I think at least as far as people who are in the chat, it seems like mostly Brits. But where are your spare heads from? Here go the spare heads again. If you had good cold-pressed, unfiltered apple cider, it's completely different from regular apple juice. Yeah. I can believe that. I referenced the cat priest because someone said cat was the first humanoid cat. Oh, right. That's right. I had forgotten about that by the time I got to your post. Okay. Yeah. That episode got banned in the UK as cider is always alcoholic here. Yeah. I've heard that before. That's so funny to me. Cider without alcohol heresy, I say. I say that because in Backwards, Lister was living with Kachansky in the reverse universe until she unmet him and he had to go back to Starbug without her. It was just the boys in the entire book. Interesting. Oh, okay. Red Dwarf with Homer Simpson in place of Lister. Damn, I'm cold. I'm going to turn my heater back on. Oh, I'm wearing a dress, so... I always wear a dress on Sunday, even if it's, like, not really the best weather for it. Just force of habit. Either he'd pull a Homer and get them home much sooner, or crash as a blue midget into the side of Red Dwarf after a few rounds of Duff beer and be okay. That sounds about right. I might be crazy, but I dislike coffee due to being the devil of a drink to kick away. As in, do you mean that it's addictive? I remember they considered an ending where they get back to Earth but accidentally crash Red Dwarf into the planet at high speed, wiping out almost the entire human race. Oh god, that's terrible. Rimmer would go bald sooner by having to deal with his antics. The final scene was supposed to be them emerging from the wreckage of the ship to exchange insurance details with the few survivors on the planet. All I drink is water. The two responses I get are either a weird look or that's good for you. Yeah. Me, it's water with Crystal Light in it. Because I don't know, water's boring. Basically not too different from the accents in the Full Monty, which are in Sheffield and Yorkshire. Ah, okay. God, that mention of the Full Monty reminded me of that. Reminded me of a random line where they get arrested and the police ask them what they were doing, and Gaz says we were rubbing pipes, which I'm not even sure what that means. I assume that means cleaning them. And the police officer says, "No bugger rubs pipes in the buff." And Gaz says, "We do. Don't get your clothes dirty, do ya?" Such a dumb line. There we go. I lost my place there. I actually saw a little bit of the Full Monty last night. I saw about the last 15 minutes of it, which is probably the best part, so... Yeah, Chloe Annette's Kachansky was mostly the writing, and partially she was joining a cast that had worked together for a decade or two, yet needed to hit the ground running, establishing chemistry. Yeah. I thought she did pretty good, all things considered, but yeah, she was not super well written. Particularly in season 8. Oh my god, it's like Doug Naylor writes her like he's never met a woman in his life. Not trying to say that's true, but I mean that's how badly he wrote Kachansky. One thing I can't do is take medication with water, especially big pills. I need flavored drinks for this. Interesting. She basically had no chance no matter how good she did in the role, yeah. Well, she was a replacement for Rimmer, which is like such an awful thing to do to her. Because everybody loves Rimmer. The audience, I mean. I'm starting to think navigational officers are not very much a real think position. Not much a real think position. whatever. Yeah, I can't see how even Claire Grogan could have elevated the line. So you don't have a sausage, steak, pie, and chips then? I don't remember that line. The one complaint I don't get with Chloe's Kachansky is how did Lister fall for her in the first place? He didn't. She's an alternate version of Kachansky. Well, I mean, Yeah, she is, but yeah, good point. Yeah, no, you're right. I had to stop and think for a second. That's right. She is an alternate version of Kachansky. She's still basically the same person, though, I would think. Although Chrissy was capable at her job, she did mention growing up in a virtual world. Yeah, I like that about Duck Soup. Everyone hates Duck Soup, but I thought it did a pretty good job of humanizing Kachansky. Except apparently all those scenes were cut out in the version most of you saw, so... It's a British show, so you get Brits in the chat. That's just logic, yeah. It might partly have to do with the time zone, too. Oh, Shamrock Particle is American. See, I would have thought you were Irish with your name. I'm kidding. Obtruse One is American. I just grew up on British TV and particularly read Dwarf, and I've worked for 2 different companies based out of the UK, the current one for the last 7 years. Okay. Well, if you ever do, the show it would be great to see what you think of each. But I will say that there is rumors an animated one is coming and it's continuing the series. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know how you would continue Ash versus Evil Dead. They really ended it. Like, they really put a, nice cap on the end there. Unless they're actually going to have Ash fighting Deadites in the future. Which would be... I guess that would work. Raj Branston from Hell's Kitchen would make anything Lister makes for food look very appetizing and 5-star worthy. I salute any American that has the good taste to watch Red Dwarf. I appreciate it. I think that Spoonie is also a fan of the show. He's used at least 2 references in his vids. Those are just the ones I've seen, yeah. I'm British, first discovered you through Silent Hill, which is probably different, as I assume most of your British viewers discovered you through Red Dwarf. Yeah, I believe so. How did it work in the book as Lister came from the future and that Earth seemed to be in the past? Devil of a drink, but Lucifer always prefers white grape. Okay. Lister was the only person who perceived time forward. Everyone else, it was backward, including Kachansky. Damn, that gives me a headache thinking about that. Flavored rubbish, how dare you. Oh, hi Mario Dude, I just saw your post there. It's also hand-waved for the most part because it's a pain in the ass to write that way around, and Rob Grant was always more of the hard sci-fi influence on the show. I've told others that water is interesting because some days it can be the best drink ever, but other days it's so boring. Yeah, if you're thirsty, water tastes great. I'm out of sorts. I'm having a woman's period. Oh, yeah. That was Rimmer posing as Kachansky, or was that Season 8 Kachansky? Yeah, it could almost be either. Kachansky in Series 8 is basically, Rimmer's back now. What do we do with her? And then they kill her off next series. Yeah. Kachansky on Can't Smeg Won't Speg kind of shows everything that was wrong with her character. Oh yeah, it really did. Like, she wasn't as bad on the on the show proper as she was on that episode, but yeah. She was asking Crichton about his lack of genitalia. I think you meant meat and 2 veg, ma'am. I don't remember that line. Everyone loves Rimmer. Rimmer smiles. The audience, I mean. Rimmer becomes depressed from getting his hopes up. I can totally see that in my head. Chloe's Kachansky is retconned to have also been what Kachansky looked like in the prior seasons. Yeah, I guess so. It's true, the audience really do care about him. Duck Soup was the only really standout episode of Series 7, in my opinion. It was a slower, more character-focused episode. They needed to establish Kachansky, then they forgot to do anything with her, yeah. I just mean that's why she has a different personality than Kachansky we already knew. I guess so. Oh, you are part Irish. That's interesting. They set it up with the Knights of Samaria? I don't know what you're talking about. Hi, Morgan Hannum. Wonder if we'll see Lucy Lawless again? Oh, do you mean in Ash vs. Evil Dead? She was great in that. That was definitely one thing I liked about that show. I knew she was going to be in it, but I didn't know what kind of character she was going to play, so that was pretty cool. I love hearing American perspectives on Red Dwarf. That's cool. I like that some of you appreciate that. I'm not going to go into all the hate comments again. I've already talked about that too much. I think you all are aware of it by now anyway. Also, Linkara. Oh, yeah, Linkara does reference Red Dwarf a lot. Oh my god, I'm so far behind on the chat. Dina 2023. Okay, I'm finally at the bottom. His Mirror Universe counterpart quoted Ace Rimmer. Oh, it's me, only less handsome. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Red Dwarf continuity is weird. I prefer to just think Chloe's was an alternate universe Kachansky. I don't even go that far into it. I just it's just the other Darren trope. They do it on TV all the time, but I know Red Dwarf fans like to come up with explanations for everything. As an American, I find I have to be in a certain mood to enjoy the show. I can't just watch it every day. Oh, I sure could when I was really into it. Killing Kachansky off screen was just a really weird decision, as well as how they never mentioned what happened to the rest of the crew. Well, they didn't actually kill her off. Lister had thought... Crichton told Lister she died. It turned out she had just left. Or do you mean as in they killed her off in the first season? I don't know which one you're talking about. I hate the shouldn't there have been 2 Kachanskys in season 8 thing. I don't know why people are so hung up on that. No, why would the nanobots make a second Kachansky when there's already one? And also, fucking, they couldn't even handle writing 1 Kachansky in season 8 decently. They definitely couldn't handle 2. That always bugged me that the Red Dwarf 8 stuff was just ignored in the Dave seasons. Well, I mean, Red Dwarf 8 kind of sucked, so I'm not too mad about it. It is a little weird, though. It is a little weird, though, in scenes where, it should come up, but it doesn't. There's a deleted scene where Rimmer sees the crew returning, but orders Crichton to speed the ship up, leaving the crew behind. Rimmer waves goodbye sardonically to Hollister. I think I've seen that. Yeah, the alternate ending to Only the Good. Seems like the Dave series follows that ending over the official ending. Does kind of seem that way. Thanks, Special Iron. Ace Rimmer actually says regular Rimmer is more handsome than himself. Oh, he does say that, doesn't he? Chloe Annette's... Oh, hi, J5. Chloe Annette's filmography post-Red Dwarf is somewhat sparse, one-off appearances on long-running UK shows like Casualty and Holly City, a couple of low-budget films, and Red Dwarf retrospective shows. That's a bummer. I wonder if she has a hard time getting work because everyone hates Kachansky. That would suck. Red Dwarf fans need to come up with an explanation for everything. Sounds like they'd get along well with Silent Hill fans. Oh god, yeah. Don't even get me started. I eventually stopped thinking about what actually happened to Rimmer since the last episode of season 10 made good comedy of sidestepping the subject. Yeah, that's basically them telling us you're never gonna know. I like to think that certain series of Dwarf are in slightly parallel universes to explain the continuity errors. Yeah, I think Diamanda Halligan had that theory. The rest of the crew just found a new home on some planet. Excuse me. Uh-oh, Angry Tina came out for a second there. There are just certain comments I've gotten a lot, and I see it in the chat, and I'm like, oh god, not this again. You'd think that Red Dwarf could get away with a lot of stuff that would be considered a mortal sin in Star Trek as far as continuity goes. It is a sitcom first and foremost, yeah. That's my thought. I think Crisis on Infinite Red Dwarfs happened in between 8 and Back to Earth that gave us the Rimmer we have now. There you go. In Ash vs. Evil Dead, the writing set a continuation of the series, which is the Knights of Samaria, the further films and series. Oh, okay. Oh, is that what Knights of Samaria, is that what they were called in Ash Army of Darkness? I had forgotten they were called that. That's why I didn't know what you were talking about. The rest of the crew named the new planet they found Fuchsia. Red Dwarf was to Chloe Annett what Friends was to Helen Baxendale, the actress that played Emily. Oh, God. Tainted their brand through no fault of their own, yeah. Boy, the writers really did Emily dirty, didn't they? It took me a minute to remember. Because when Star Trek screws with continuity, like 80% of Star Trek Discovery, I guess, that's like a last chicken in the shop. Red Dwarf doesn't focus on the hard science fiction as it does the comedy, yeah. Crichton showing up in Kachansky's room with a Have a Fantastic period banner made me laugh so hard, though. So Series 8 had that at least. It's not much, but there you go. I thought the comedy in Season 8 was mostly pretty good when it wasn't being, grossed. So yeah, Season 8 does make me laugh, if nothing else. It's definitely not as good as the other seasons. And they do a lot with it that I don't care for, but it does make me laugh. Thus, when Red Dwarf goofs up on continuity, we can overlook them because the show's a sitcom, yeah. I'm one of those fans that really liked Pete. Poor Hollister, yeah. I thought Pete was a mostly good episode. It's a little strange because they throw in a whole lot of different subplots, but I heard a Doug Naylor interview where he says Season 10 Rimmer is the original Rimmer, but I think that sucks because I like the idea that Rimmer becoming Ace. Everybody says they've seen this Doug Naylor interview, and no one has ever linked me to it. So I'm starting to think y'all are making that up. I would have compared what happened to Chloe Annett more what happened to Hayden Christensen. Oh yeah. Oh god. It sucks when actors are stuck playing a character that everyone hates. Also, There's also Will Wheaton. The comedy on season 8 was still funny. It's just not as much of a sci-fi series as the previous was. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, there's that. Also, for me, I thought it was a little too misogynistic at times. But... And it's lacking the depth of earlier seasons. But yeah, it was funny at least. Season 8 was centered around Lister and Rimmer. Yeah, like even more so than the rest of the series. They barely did anything with Kat in Season 8. Oh my god, you guys, shut up. I keep almost getting caught up and then more pop up. Hollister was much too Rimmer-like? I don't know about that. The Doug Naylor interview was from a parallel universe. There you go. Just got to take Odie out. I'll be right back. Yeah. You'll probably be back before I continue this fucking video. I like that Hollister is actually Dennis the Donut Boy. Yeah, I'm always forgetting that. Hi, sweet Waldo. Fingers crossed Daisy Ridley's career isn't destroyed either. Oh my god, yeah, that's another one. Will Wheaton brought it on himself? I don't see how. I actually liked Daisy Ridley as Ray. Me too, I liked Ray in general. I didn't like all of the choices they made with the movies, but as a character, she was fine. My headcanon, Rimmer died saving Red Dwarf after Series 8, and Holly became damaged. So he devoted the last of his runtime to restoring a backup of Season 7 Rimmer as a hologram for Lister's sanity. That makes sense. Oh yeah, Season 8 was sexist. It's really weird. It's like it was a less developed version of the show. It really was. Hollister and Skipper is proof he is Rimmer, like, as in a weasel. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Skipper. That's a good point. Anyway, let's go back to this.
I don't know how I missed that before, but there you go. In Season 4, Kat is still dumb, but in a regular dumb person way, and not so much a cartoon cat in a human suit kind of
Cartoon
way.
cat in a human suit.
Example,
like
he can carry on normal conversations with Lister and Crichton, but he's impressed at Crichton being able to name fruit accurately and doesn't get that the point is to get Crichton to lie.
You taught him that? That's terrific!
But he does at least try to understand what's going on.
What are you trying to do exactly?
And then he gets bored when he sees it isn't going anywhere.
What happened to old Hattie?
This conversation is kind of random, but they're talking about an actor who was a hamster.
The dude was a diva. He smoldered. The camera loved him.
If this were a Season 1 episode, Kat would be trying to eat the hamster through the screen.
Hi, Ninja Gooner. There's a lot of people in here I haven't seen before.
Version of Better Than Life and some of the messed up things it reveals about Kat. I actually didn't. I was saving it for this point because Lister says a line that seems completely random and didn't really make sense to me until after I listened to the reading of the Better
I forgot
Than
about
Life
this.
novel. Though the scenario I'm talking about actually started near the end of Infinity Welcomes Careful Drivers. Basically, we're setting up the point where Kat is about to meet the vision of his perfect mate in the form of Camille's glamour ability. And Lister says this weird line.
Well, knowing you, a 6-foot Valkyrie warrior maiden in scanty armor with a cleavage you can ski down.
And that's a bit out of place, and I wonder where Lister got that from and why Kat seems to agree with it, since it seems to go against his apparent attraction to Marilyn Monroe, not to mention just human women in general. Well, apparently it's a reference to the novel version of Better Than Life, where Kat had a harem of 7-foot-tall Valkyrie warriors. So there's where that comes from. He also did things like play croquet that involved knocking small animals around instead of balls, and there was a scene where it looked like he was going on a fox hunt, but after sending out the hunting dogs, he shoots all of them, revealing that he was actually hunting the dogs.
That was so messed up.
Yeah, the book version of Kat was a lot less cuddly. I'll take the TV version, thanks. Anyway, back to the episode. Kat's about to meet his perfect mate, and...
Hi, buddy.
Here's the punchline.
I'll be object of my own desire. Can you think of anyone more deserving?
Part of what makes this scene so much fun is that anyone else would probably be horrified to learn this about themselves. But Kat is not only okay with it, but actually happy about it. He leaves the room looking like he's experiencing afterglow.
Someone get me a brandy.
And the way he teases Lister about not telling him what he saw is really cute.
What did you see? My legs are still shaking.
Sir, I respect your sense of dress more than anything.
You and I are probably the only ones, Crichton.
If I was going out with a large ball of green slime, that's how I dress.
Also, Kat just called him by his name directly, which is really unusual. DNA starts with Kat stopping progress in the scanning room by unplugging their computer so he can plug in his hairdryer. Like, why does he need to do it there? Maybe they aren't supposed to leave that area until they figured out what's going on.
Unplug my hot wax strip unsightly hair remover?
Also, he waxes his bikini line.
We finally get to encounter an alien species and I have to meet them with a wavering bikini line.
Hey, the aliens won't know, but he will.
Alright, okay. I'll use gel. Everybody happy?
So they go to split up, and Rimmer refuses to go with Kat.
You flee at the first sign of trouble, you only look after number one, you're narcissistic and you're self-obsessed.
You just listed all my best features.
After they split up, I nearly missed the fact that Kat's fixing his hair in this shot. I don't know why, though, it seems obvious now. So, slightly reminiscent of that bit I love in Stasis League, Kat gets away from Lister again. I love how he's just drawn to the colorful panel, so he immediately runs over to it and starts pushing buttons.
That was pretty funny.
Lister gets trapped
just
in a
like,
beam
"Ooh,
of some
shiny
kind,
buttons."
and Kat insists that he can fix it, so he just keeps pushing random buttons.
Crichton! Relax, would you? I know what I'm doing.
At this point, even he knows he's screwed up, but he still insists on trying to fix it. Arrogance and stupidity is a bad combination.
Why don't I go and get Crichton?
By the time he finally admits that he should go get Crichton to fix it, it's too late. He has turned Lister into a chicken.
What can I say except... Whoops.
Later, Kat is being unusually helpful with Rimmer, trying to get his DNA out of some old dandruff of his. I guess Kat was just really bored. Also, he doesn't get that dandruff is just dead skin that would have regular DNA in it.
The first time you take a shower with medicated shampoo, you'll disappear.
That's just cute. And yet he's still smart enough to point out the abuse of DNA research.
What about the dude with 3 heads? What happened to him?
Granted, he's kind of following Lister's lead, but again, in Season 1, he would have been in the background batting at a string or something.
Are you two seriously suggesting you're not going to use it? There's nothing about your bodies you'd like to improve?
Really, Rimmer? Did you forget who you were talking to?
Most people leave their bodies to medical science. I'm leaving mine to the Louvre, babe.
Also, despite the way he worded it being played for laughs, he definitely shows some compassion for Lister.
When a woman screws you up so bad, you want to become a squirrel.
And so much for Rimmer's idea to clone himself.
Maybe I could wear a
That was
tail and
great.
pretend I'm from India.
Maybe you can stick a spike in your head and pretend you're the Taj Mahal.
Oh
Justice
my god, this
starts off with
outfit.
Lister having had an ailment where his head has swollen up, and he expresses being annoyed with Kat for not having visited him during the worst of it. Kat's response is basically, "Of course I didn't. Look how disgusting you are." Anyway, there's a stasis
Oh
pod
god,
where
not
might be a
Flurry
woman
Heart.
inside, and Kat immediately believes that he will be the one she's attracted to.
So she's just an ordinary person who doesn't go for your type.
I'd have heard about her. She'd have appeared in Ripley's Believe It or Not.
And this points to a fun aspect of Kat's character. He has never met a woman, and yet his ego is such that he believes, without any doubt, that women find him irresistible.
Let's face it, buddy. I have a body that makes men wet.
And it's not as if he's hard to look at. A lesser show might have given this attitude to an ugly character and killed the subtlety. It's just meant to point to how highly he thinks of himself.
It can do 150 pelvic thrusts a second.
Then there's the thrusting comment.
That's me in slow-mo. Put a Black & Decker drill on the end and I can make it through walls, boy.
Anyway, there might be a dangerous criminal in the pod. Spoiler, of course there is. And Kat wants to take the badass approach.
Why don't we tune up the bazookoids, wait for the pod to open, and if it's one of these badass android dudes, let it eat laser.
Again, any excuse to wield a bazookoid. Anyway, Kat has been particularly shitty towards Lister.
R.I.P.D. I'm not sure what
So
movie
here's
that
the
is.
payback.
His head burns. I don't want to live. Oh, please, shoot me in the head.
Not that he learns anything from it, because once Lister shows some
Love
concern
that.
about getting in trouble after the mind probe, Kat mocks him.
Hey, I hear they do good bread and water here, buddy.
You're such an asshole. This is kind of weird. Usually
least he
Kat
didn't
has
make
a
a
pretty
drop the
reliable
soap
sense
joke.
of Smell.
Can I smell perfume?
I doubt it.
Are you going to charge Barbara Bellini?
That's some serious desperation there. Like, if that was Barbara Bellini, he'd still want to hit that. But Kat's arrogance and stupidity comes back to bite him one more time. Kat getting hit and turning stiff as a board before doing a cartoony fallover is a running gag that happens a few more times.
I just noticed you could see his shadow. You could like see his legs go up in the shadow. Let me watch
Comes
that
back to
again.
bite
I
him
never
one
noticed
more
before.
time.
Watch his shadow on the wall.
Kat getting hit and turning stiff as
You
a
see
board
his
before
legs
doing
go
a
up?
cartoony fallover is a running gag that happens a few more
Sorry,
times
I
throughout
just
the
never
series.
noticed that before.
Speaking of running gags,
We laser our way through.
White Hole starts the one where Cat has a great idea with only 2 minor drawbacks.
One, we don't have a power source for the lasers, and two, we don't have
any
lasers.
lasers.
That's a Cheshire Cat smile right there.
So how come Grand Canyon Nostrils is still here?
I don't know what it is about Grand Canyon nostrils specifically, but that's one of my favorite cat nicknames for Rimmer. Other than that, Cat doesn't do a whole lot in White Hole that's unusual. Mainly he's just kind of mean to Lister, and he has a few lines that are great.
Yeah, we're cooking now! How do you want yours, permed or blow-dried?
Though this bit got even funnier and messed up when I realized that Cat is wearing a fur coat while demanding the electric blanket.
Pedal!
Talk about entitled.
Wake me in 8 hours.
So in the end, when it's down to Rimmer's idea or Lister's
So what is
idea,
it?
Cat actually agrees with Rimmer but sides with Lister because of Rimmer's dress sense.
I couldn't put my cross next to the Brian Nylon party. I've seen Gerbil Face play down in the recreation room.
Gerbil face. Also, Cat doesn't know how pool works.
I have never once seen him lose a single ball down one of those holes.
In Dimension Jump, yeah, when I originally covered this episode, I was confused about how Rimmer being held back a year at school resulted in Cat being human because I thought that all of these characters were alternate universe versions of the main ones on the show. Now I think it's just the actors playing different characters, with the exception of Spanners being alternate Lister with a cool nickname. In other words, in my opinion at least, this isn't Cat, this is Danny John Jules playing a different character. It's still fun seeing him play a character who is so different from Cat, though. After that, Cat mostly just acts extra insensitive toward Rimmer while everyone else is trying to tiptoe around the fact that they don't want him around.
It's not easy, to come in every night, look in that mirror and see a guy nobody likes.
How'd you think we feel? We gotta look at it all day. Why haven't you got the guts just to tell the dude nobody likes him? Well, that's what I'd do. I'd say, hi, buddy, how's it going?
Kind of weird that he suddenly won't be upfront about disliking Rimmer. Rule of funny, I guess. Anyway, Cat gets injured when Starbug crashes, getting a nasty-looking compound fracture in his leg.
I'm bleeding an unfashionable color.
He doesn't even seem to notice the pain. He's too busy freaking out over the blood clashing with his outfit.
Make sure he doesn't get gangrene. Gangrene? Green with apricot. I think I could pull that off.
Even when Crichton snaps the bone back in place, Cat just reacts to how boring his reading material is. Obviously, about 90% of the situation is weirdly played for laughs, but here's something to contrast with it a little. Notice Lister holding Cat's hand and petting him. That's so sweet.
What about the guy in the sharp suit?
I like how Ace compliments Cat's outfit.
I love the Cuban heels.
I think it's meant to be a contrast of how everyone else hates Rimmer, but everyone gets along with Ace. Though both Ace and Cat have somewhat unusual taste in style, so there's that too. Anyway, Cat is delirious, so naturally it affects his fashion sense.
Here we go.
Sock suspenders, shoes with cardigans, paisley with stripes.
See, I knew you weren't supposed
Paisley
to
with
mix
stripes.
prints. I knew I'd heard that somewhere. Meltdown has the first mention of Rimmer's light bee, and I love how it's brought up.
Well, of course, you do have a small physical presence.
Precisely.
Cat's mind went straight to the gutter. And going by the look on Holly's face, I think that's what she was going for. After Cat and Lister get thrown into prison, Lister sees what's going on outside the window.
Oh, nothing.
And he's a little protective of Cat here in that he tries to sugarcoat what he's seeing so Cat won't be too upset.
If it's gallows, say it's gallows. I can take it.
Okay, it's gallows.
Probably because Cat cried a little while before that when Lister mentioned torture.
Hey, torture!
Poor scared kitty.
Hey, buddy, we just, Silence, scum!
A bit later, Cat says a lot of stupid things to wax droid Caligula, who takes it out on Lister.
We all feel peckish after making love, but most of us settle for pizza.
You are an impudent fool.
But Cat just cannot keep his mouth shut.
You think I'm insane?
I don't think he's even doing it on purpose. Look how he flinches when Lister tells him to shut up.
Shut up!
He's like, I can't
He
help
doesn't say
it.
anything in regards to Rimmer basically committing genocide on the wax droids, but he just kind of silently backs up Lister. You can tell that even Cat knows how messed up that is. Once again, Cat's makeup appears to be mostly unchanged, and his hair is reverted to pretty much season 1 and 2, maybe a little bit sleeker. And costume-wise, he's been scaled down to 1 per episode, with only a few articles here and there that are reused from previous seasons. Also, Cat's outfits feel less experimental than in season 3. If nothing else, there's usually a long coat involved, which kind of unifies them. There's also a lot of jungle print this time around. I love that the one he's wearing in Camille, the first episode of the season, ends up being an iconic one. The base is black vinyl pants and top with a pink tunic of some kind over it. There's something about the shape of it that seems vaguely Star Trek-y to me. Secured with the cat belt. He's also wearing a little silver heart on a chain, literally the only guy I know who can pull that off. Later on, he's wearing a long zebra print coat that has a big flashy pin. After this, zebra print kind of became his trademark in a way. On the rare occasion when you see Cat fan art or cosplay, it usually involves this outfit, if not a similar one from Season 7. In DNA, he's wearing black sequined pants and shirt, along with what I think is the silver jacket from Polymorph, except that it has oversized jewels in different colors going up the left arm, with one on each shoulder as well. Either those were added later or I just didn't spot them the other time. There's also an elaborate silver belt involved. This is another one of those outfits where it's almost too much, but the black balances it out, even with the sequins. The only part I don't like is the oversized jewels on the jacket. The outfit from Justice is another one of my favorites, though I may be a bit biased because I love purple. A frilly satin lilac-colored shirt along with shiny purple pants with stirrups and a crushed velvet deep purple waistcoat with jeweled buttons, along with gold jewelry and a chain belt with a giant dangling cross earring. There's even purple gloves with an oversized ring, and even the shoes are purple. It looks very Prince-like to me. If this wasn't inspired by Prince, I'd be very surprised. I want to say that his makeup looks a bit different in this one, making him look almost doll-like, but I can't put my finger on what's different. I feel like they made him extra pretty because he was going to get covered in Lister's head pus later, so it would be that much more funny.
Lister's head
that
pus.
That could be my imagination, though.
That should be a
White Hope,
band
he's wearing
name.
the red and black coat from the end of The Last Day, along with a plain black shirt and pants. This one is nice because it's simple and classy. Except if you look really close, sometimes you can see a black sequined fanny pack.
Oof.
That kills it a little. I just cannot be okay with a fanny pack. I don't care if it was the early 90s. His outfit in Dimension Jump is kind of pimp-like, with his big old long
Pimp-like.
coat and a
It's
brimmed
true,
hat.
though.
Anyway, it's apricot, according to Kat. Pants that are crushed velvet and a shirt that's got a matching brooch, with a glittery black vest and another long fish skeleton earring. The hat is black with studs and a plume of feathers in it, and the jacket is leopard print with a hood and black fur lining. In Meltdown, Kat is wearing the sort of outfit that only he can get away with. I'm only just now noticing, but I believe that shirt is the one from Body Swap. Only now I'm noticing that it looks more copper than brown. Anyway, he's wearing it with a vest, tie, and pants that are all copper and have a snakeskin texture, gold boots, actually those might be from The Last Day as well, and a long leopard print coat. I think what makes it work is that the coat covers most of it, so it doesn't feel like too much. The boots are pushing it a little, but at least the pants aren't tucked into them like in The Last Day, so we're seeing a lot less of them. And that's Kat in Seasons 3 and 4. Again, I was hoping to cover more in this video, but it's running long. So there will be one more in this batch where I'll cover Season 5 and Red Dwarf USA. See you then!
Alright, one more down. I'm gonna take a bathroom break in a second.
Hijack the guards when they come in, nick their uniforms and stroll out. You seriously expect me to wear grey out of season? I'd rather hang.
I'd rather hang. I'm honestly trying to... There we go. Okay, I'll be right back. Oh, this is where yeah, this must be the last Cat video for now, because this is where I cover Red Dwarf USA. Okay, I'll be right back.
fluffy baby girl. I know. Oh.
Sorry, Tara's laying on the couch and she was looking all cute. I had to give her some pets. And then she rolled over and I had to give her tummy rubs. Okay. Oh god, so much chat. There we are. Red Dwarf Series 8 seems like it was a collection of rejected scripts given the Red Dwarf paint. That's almost what Pete was. There were a whole lot of like unfinished script ideas added to that. Season 8 took any of the serious aspects out and made everything comedy, like Captain Hollister was turned into a dumb comedy character when he was more serious in the original series and flashbacks. That's true. The Doug Naylor interview where he talks about Rimmer was on the Two Geeks, Two Beers podcast. Well, I mean, even if he did say that, if it doesn't turn up on the show, I don't think it doesn't count as canon, I don't think. Making up for the fact I missed the original live stream of when you covered Camille. I remember when he saw Kat's castle in Better Than Life, including his harem, he asks himself, who did he buy this castle from? Benny Hill? That's random. Consider the thing about Kat's pointed stick. It reminds me of this bit from South Park. I don't think you ever posted part 2 of that thought. Let me see if maybe... Let me set this to live chat. Maybe it's just not showing me it. I know I have to figure out where I left off at, because... Oh, it's not letting me scroll all the way up. That's... Oh, no. Why the fuck wouldn't I be... Oh, man. Well, now I've lost half the chat. Oh, well. Yes, Cat definitely can see colors. Yeah, it makes sense that he would have lost his ability to see in the dark since they don't need it anymore. Actually, not sure why you mentioned Flurry Heart. Just randomness, I guess. That sneeze was a blooper they left in? I don't know if I believe that. It doesn't come across that way to me. Rimmer's plan to clone himself being totally destroyed by a single sneeze. I do wonder how Terry Farrell's cat would have acted in those types of scenes. Yeah, good question. Since I missed DNA the first time, I have to point out that R.I.P.D. could have used a mutton vindaloo beast since the bad guys were allergic to curry. I can't remember if I asked earlier, but I'm not sure what R.I.P.D. is. I could imagine that if Red Dwarf USA had been successful, Feral Cat could have been developed into Proto-Beyonce. Lister's head burst was too gross for words. Yeah, it was. That was pretty gross. When Cat is covered in all that gunk after the head burst, I like Holly grimacing in the background. I think I always miss that. I'm always busy looking at Cat. Actually, I'm surprised Cat was the one to point out that Rimmer was still alive despite the rest of the ship's power being shut off. Probably because he was looking forward to Rimmer disappearing. Cat's not entitled, just being a cat. I mean, it can be both. Cat is so merciless toward Rimmer most of the time. I love it. Yeah. The pub where Lister claims to have been unbeatable in Whitehole is a real place, though the Egbert Arms is probably, as we Brits say, rough as a robber's dog. Well, that's interesting about that being a real place. It's always weird to me that everyone loves Ace when in real life he'd be almost as insufferable as Rimmer. That's true, but he's a totally different type of insufferable. I must ask, though, you won't continue My Little Pony vlogs. Do you think you would do a live watch parties of episodes? I could. I haven't really even thought about My Little Pony in a long time, though, so it's not really something that's on my radar. I guess maybe if enough people are interested, I could do that sometime. You may want to change the playlist from on hiatus if it might not come back. Oh, good point. I forgot that I left it on hiatus. In a Persona 5 Red Dwarf mashup, Rimmer summons Napoleon as a Persona and Cat loving his fine Finn's Phantom Thief suit born for... Okay, I've never seen Persona, so that's lost on me. The Winnie the Pooh humor was totally hilarious. Yeah, it was. Ace has charisma, Rimmer has charisma. Woof. I remember someone asking what would happen if Ace, Rimmer, and Lord Flashheart met. Someone else said they'd just cancel each other out with their awesome manliness. That's one of the few episodes of Blackadder I remember. Just because I think I had it on tape and I used to watch it a lot. Rimmer has just enough charisma to fill his little finger. Yup. Ace sells himself well, that's a good point. How about the variant of T'Challa where he became Star-Lord? He was giving off an Ace Rimmer vibe to me. God, I don't really remember that. I watched all of the what is it called? All the What If episodes. I don't really remember that one too well. The artwork of Cat's evolution was used in the remastered pilot, presumably as a visual aid to Holly describing how he evolved from cats. That's interesting. I wondered if that was, like, official in some way. Oh, yeah, the white tiger. Or I always just called it zebra print, because zebra print and white tiger print are the same thing. Oh, God, that reminds me... I hate to keep talking about people in the comments, but like a couple people argue with me about that, and I'm like, it's not like it's an actual animal skin, it's a print. Like zebra coats and white tiger coats are basically interchangeable. The coat patterns, I mean, and it's, yeah. And now with their fantastic remix of the Ohm song, please give a big hand for Lister's headbutts. There you go, perfect. Hello, Houston, we are Dave Lister's headbutts. Are you ready to rock? It'll be like the live shows involving that defecating punk artist. you pay every extra to be in every back row than the very front. How about charades? Who was best My Little Pony villain in your opinion? Oh God, it's been so long. Maybe Queen Chrysalis? I thought she was actually kind of disturbing looking for a My Little Pony character. No soul, don't push that button. No, too late. So about me getting back before the next video started. Yeah, you're right. Tara needed pets. Yeah, I'm at the point where I was petting Tara. Odie's just been making funny growls as he's been playing with me and my mum. Aw. Meanwhile, Hollister was playing Arthur Weasley, a very different character. That reminds me, the family got a new pet, and she's named after Madge, Kira's character, so it's Nana. Oh. After Major Kira's character. Oh, okay. Okay. I get it. You mean the actress who played Major Kira. Yeah, Nana Visitor. That's cute. At this rate, we're only going to watch about 3 or 4 videos. Yeah, probably, because these cat videos are so long. Yeah, Peterson. Which My Little Pony episode was more disturbing, Party of One or Lesson Zero? I don't know. Both, I think. Maybe Party of One. Red Dwarf has a hotel among other decks. Other possible decks Red Dwarf can have. Any thoughts? I'm not too interested in pontificating those kind of things. Well, unlike the Enlightenment, Red Dwarf doesn't have a sex deck, but then as Dina says, it's called a bedroom. We all know how much you love Flurry Heart. Yeah, God, she looked so bad. What were they thinking with that? Like, that whole show was like had such a great like aesthetic with the character designs, and then they come up with Flurry Heart, who's this freaking like some focus group came up with that character design. You can tell. Oh, let's give her super big eyes and huge wings because kids will like that. When I saw the acronym RAPD, I kept thinking Raccoon Police Department. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I still don't know what they were talking about. When Lister is smell reading the cat book, I always wonder what the smell for dick is. Okay. I have no idea where Dina is in this chat right now. I don't even know most of the time. Okay, I'm getting kind of close to being caught up now. Rimmer was calling that kettle Charlie with what he says about Cat when he's the most yellow bloke, and we ain't talking out of time here either. Oh, okay. Difference with Ace is he is really nice and supportive to everyone, yeah. Red Dwarf uses Smeg as a stand-in curse word. The My Little Pony Phantom uses Buck. Yeah, that was kind of fun. Ace's issue long-term is that he's cloying, which is likely because it's a half-hour sitcom, so that there's no time for subtle moments, but he's always turned up to 11, and it's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, we probably wouldn't like Ace as a main character, would we? He only works in, like, the occasional single episode. The only My Little Pony's villains I know are the witches from the 80s movie. My Little Pony has villains? Of course it does. I assume that's a question, even though there's no question mark on it. Plus, the only time we see him is in a character establishing montage and in the middle of a crisis where stuff keeps happening constantly. Then we get fake Ace and emo Hawk that's more of a parody of Ace. Yeah. Let's see. Nightmare Moon, Discord, Queen Chrysalis, Turek, Cozy Glow. I forgot about her. King Sombra, Starlight Glimmer. Oh, God. Starlight Glimmer was interesting as a villain, wasn't she? Sunset Shimmer. Though Sunset, Starlight, and Discord were reformed. Hi, Darth Solidus. Plus, Celestia is getting too old to the point where the one time she tries to kick butt against Chrysalis, she fails. That was such a letdown. I really wanted to see her kick some ass. I saw a picture of Nana Visitor recently and I could not recognize her. She has curly gray hair that's no longer, so she looks nothing like Kira. I don't know about that. She just looks like Kira with gray hair to me. She even still has short hair, I think, and spiky maybe. I don't know, it's been a while. Some of the villains were ponies themselves. One was legitimately a cult leader. Yeah, that was Starlight Glimmer. I like that bit. That was an interesting episode. Brainwashed ponies into joining her cause while thinking she was doing a good thing. Hi, Taijan. Oh. I also agree with you. Pound and Pumpkin Cake were cuter even if their debut episode just had their dialogue as crying since they were babies, but still Baby Cakes was an episode that got bronies annoyed. Really? I loved Baby Cakes. I thought it was adorable. R.I.P.D. is a movie series ripping off M.I.B. Men in Black. Okay, but I still don't know. Is R.I.P.D. literally the title? I've never heard of it. I assumed you guys were like with M.I.B., I assumed that was, an anagram or whatever. Apparently My Little Pony having villains is news to everyone. Little girls' cartoons are always so afraid of conflict. I almost don't blame people for thinking that. I tried watching that Strawberry Shortcake show that was on around the same time as Friendship is Magic, and oh my god, it was so mind-numbing. There's like zero conflict on that show. It's just like everyone getting along all the time and everybody's happy all the time. And I'm like, good Lord. This is why girls' cartoons suck. I mean, sure, there's probably a little bit of misogyny involved in people saying that, but like girls' cartoons genuinely don't tend to be very good. One thing I always thought was weird / creepy was how in DNA Crichton was able to become human because his brain is part organic. So does he have some dead person's brain? Yeah, it's a little weird. He just says that as a one-off, like, quick little explanation about it, but it's like, wait a minute. Also, just to jog Dina's memory in case she forgot, Pound and Pumpkin Cake are the twin foals. Oh no, I remember who they are. Starlet was a great villain, and I think her character consistency after reforming was handled better than Sunset. Yeah, it was. Do people in Final Fantasy games watch a show called MLC My Little Chocobo? That'd be funny. I still remember Nana's part in Night Court as a patient with multiple personality disorder. Oh crap, I don't remember that. I've been thinking about rewatching the old, Night Court series. The new, sorry, keep burping. The new one has me kind of thinking about the old one. It's been a while since I watched it. Yes, the title R.I.P.D. is Rest in Peace Department. Okay. I've definitely never heard of it then. Utterly forgettable movie. Okay. Even Paw Patrol has villains. It was that lousy movie where Ryan Reynolds plays a cop who dies and joins a cop department dedicated to the undead. I'm surprised I've never heard of this. What if Men in Black was urban fantasy instead of science fiction is basically the premise. Okay, Is Jeff Bridges as a cowboy who's not exactly Rooster Cogburn? Oh, his mentor is Jeff Bridges. Okay. Night Court holds up surprisingly well. I'm sure a lot of the comedy is aged badly because it was one of those shows that kind of went out of its way to be offensive sometimes, but everybody on there was so damn funny. Thomas has villains and they're often a bunch of smegheads. But they handled Sunset and Starlight much better from reforming than Discord's reforming, though they had to put a cap on season 3 with 13 episodes, even though I still think Timberwolves. Oh yeah, the Timberwolves were good. And I loved how they look in the later episodes. Well, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic wasn't a girls' show, Lauren Faust explicitly. Well, it's still technically aimed at little girls, though. Like, as far as Hasbro is concerned, it is. It's so forgettable I've only just heard of it and will have likely forgotten it by tomorrow. Night Court seasons 4 through 7 are by far the best. Yeah, it sounds about right, but 2 and 3 are decent. Season 1 feels like a totally different show. It really is. There were so many cast changes. And when season 1 came out on DVD, nobody bought the DVD, and so they stopped making them. And people were like, wait a minute, we wanted the later seasons. I think they eventually did put them out, but it took a while. It really isn't nearly as bad as most of the 80s stuff I went back and rewatched. I burned through about 6 to 7 seasons of it about 2 years ago, and it did a good job, I thought. I forget what we're talking about. Is that Night Court? We're kind of talking about 3 different shows right now. Oh my god, speaking of Thomas the Tank Engine, Smeghead and Smegpot and Smeg really do sound like fake curse words they would use. Never watched that. Honestly, the first idea for a better version of RAPD in my head. Okay, I'm going to start ignoring that topic. Like Dan Fielding is the source of most of the offensive humor, and it's clearly framed that he's a complete asshole. Yeah, that's true. In case anyone's wondering, Dina's a Rarity stan. Oh yeah, for sure. Took half the budget. They could have given Discord more time as a villain, especially Fluttershy got me mad afterwards, basically being kind of naive and spineless and siding with him a little too much. Yeah, he did reform a little too fast. Oh, by the budget thing, you meant the Timberwolves, right? Night Court even had an episode where Dan's college roommate, who was as much a womanizer as him, turned out to be a transgender. Oh god, I forgot about that! And it was shockingly well handled for the 1980s. Yeah, I remember that episode. Yeah, I grabbed Night Court seasons 2 and 4, and I have the other ones through other means. Not perfect, but it clearly made Dan as the butt of the joke for not being able to handle her transition rather than making any jokes about her being trans. Yeah, as I remember, that episode did treat that pretty well. I don't remember too many of the details, but okay, Sticks, thanks for joining. Thanks for stopping by, is what I normally say. I like Spike, and I just wish the writers did as well. Yeah. My brother had a funny theory about Thomas the Tank Engine once the engines wandered free in a land without humans until they swept over the hill, lassoing them all into slavery. Oh my god. Also, I'm shocked that in The Legend of Everfree, the final Equestria Girls movie, that the best evil enchantress who does... Oh, well, I never saw that. Okay, since there are some new people in here, I guess I'll mention that I'm hoping to raise some money to help me pay rent. So if anyone would like to donate, there's a link at the top of the chat. It's pinned up there if you want. I know not everybody can. But yeah, there it is. Watch at least one more episode. We'll see. I think this is the last cat video, so maybe I can squeeze in one more short regular one. Oh, there it goes.
Okay, time for the final video about Cat for this batch. In season 5, Cat pretty much continues his streak of being the dumb one, but the writers get a little more creative and cute about it.
Personally, I thought it started well but fell apart.
Hollow Ship starts off with him enjoying the cartoon short before the movie.
But sir, that was the cartoon before the main program.
I love how after Crichton explains it to him, he appears to be in such deep thought about it, like, wow, this changes everything. I'm not going to point out every time Cat has a great idea with only 2 minor drawbacks, because I'm already pointing out running gags in the main videos. But there are a couple times in season 5 where it involves him confusing fiction with reality.
Why don't we drop the defensive shields?
I know I have heard drop the defensive shields on Star Trek, and it has been mentioned that Star Trek is a fictional show in this universe.
Don't give me the Star Trek crap. It's too early in the morning.
So I think Cat was literally confusing Star Trek with reality. And he doesn't even feel stupid or anything when Crichton corrects him. He's just like, damn, that would have been such a good idea.
Well, I say let's break out the laser cannons and give them both barrels.
I don't know where the laser cannons comes from.
Sir, they've taken Mr. Rimmer.
Quick, let's get out of here before they bring him back.
So when Binks enters the ship and looks over everyone,
Phyllis Sapiens.
first he reveals that the Cat Ark came in contact with the Hollow Ship at some point. Also, I love how Cat seems really happy to be getting attention.
Bred from the domestic house cat and about half as smart.
Until he gets insulted and his mood suddenly changes. Here he takes a couple little stabs at Rimmer's intelligence.
You could be reduced to a gibbering simpleton.
Reduced? Even if it costs you your money? It's a small price to pay.
And I love how he follows it with that smart-ass smile, like he's just so pleased with himself.
Please, take a look in the mirror. Read your entry in Who's Nobody.
Inquisitor has what is probably one of the best Cat scenes.
Yep.
So this is the point where the Inquisitor is going to judge everyone to find out whether or not.
Oh,
they
laser
deserve to
cannons
live
is Star
in the form
Wars,
of
thank
each
you.
respective character. I want to point out that the scene with Rimmer comes before this, and it's kind of heavy because Rimmer thinks he's screwed, and he gives his spiel about how his upbringing is to blame. And then afterwards is the scene with Crichton, which is completely serious, and Crichton calls out the Inquisitor on his bullshit. But right in between those scenes is Cat.
Hi, buddy.
Hi, buddy.
This is your judgment day, bud.
Once again, he's confronted with himself, and he's completely happy with that. Also, how does he justify his existence?
I've given pleasure to the world because I have such a beautiful ass.
Part of what's so funny about this is that Cat is usually more vague about his attractiveness. It's usually more along the lines of, I'm looking good, but here it's just, I have a great ass, damn it.
Some might say I'm a pretty shallow guy, but a shallow guy with a great ass.
And that's just amazing. And again, this is supposed to be a serious moment where he's being judged, and it just turns into him happily chatting it up with his other self.
Sometimes you astonish even me. Thank you.
On a slightly more serious note, Cat just doesn't judge himself harshly. Really, we didn't need this scene to tell us that, but here is where it's just outright stated. And that sort of thing tends to be treated as a negative trait. Really, most of Cat's more obvious traits would be considered negative. But honestly, I kind of admire his ability to give no fucks. And how he doesn't feel like he has any flaws to focus on. Realistically, yeah, there's a lot more to life than just looking good, and being critical of yourself can be a good thing. Maybe he has untapped potential that's going unrealized. Which, by the way, was going to culminate in a Season 7 episode called Identity Within that was never made, but exists as an animatic with Chris Berry doing all the voices. And yes, of course I'm eventually going to cover it.
Of
but on the
course.
other hand, he is happy and carefree almost all of the time. That's kind of an enviable life. Either way, it obviously works for him, even if it's not something that most of us should strive for. Besides, he's not human and therefore should not be judged as such. In any case, going back to this episode, it definitely works for him here because Inquisitor decides that he and Rimmer shouldn't be erased, since Cat is perfectly happy with himself, where Rimmer feels like he did his best under the circumstances. Anyway, the main Lister is erased from the timeline. I used to think that altered Cat's personality.
Move so much as an eyebrow, boy, and your dog meat.
It would make sense that a different version of Lister might result in some kind of change in the cat people. But now that I've been looking over Season 5 more closely, it's really not out of character for Cat to act like a badass when he's got a bazookoid, and to be cooperative with Rimmer. And I think those were the only things I've noticed other than the change of clothes. Although,
How do you know
Hi,
my name?
Cinematic
Don't
Sith.
fall for that one, bud. He read it on your uniform.
that line makes him sound smarter. What I didn't pick up on when I first covered this episode is that ideally, if Lister were more driven and successful, he wouldn't have ended up on Red Dwarf in the first place, and therefore there shouldn't even be a cat. But oh well.
I hate to say it, but for once, Trans Am Wheel Arch Nostrils is right.
And then there's Trans Am Wheel Arch Nostrils, my second favorite cat name for Rimmer.
That's your plan? We go out there and face him? Nice plan. Shall I paint the bullseye on my face?
This is so hard for me to watch, you guys don't even know. But at least he gets better when the timeline is restored.
You're a weird guy, you know that?
You're a weird
Terraform
guy,
shows
you know
Cat
that.
can type surprisingly fast, and one-handed at that. Anyway, have another brown trousers comment.
Sounds like a 12 change of underwear trip.
Anyway, for this point in the series, he's oddly flippant
12
about
change of
Crichton's
underwear.
possible death.
He really isn't dead. Oh, you 20.
Though that's probably just rule of funny. Though his being flippant about Rimmer being tortured is pretty much in character.
Anybody got any opera glasses?
And once again, Cat confuses fiction with reality.
I say let's get into the jet-powered rocket pants and Junior Birdman the hell out of here.
Though in this case, it's a show that only exists in
Kitty,
this
no.
universe.
And B, there's no such thing as jet-powered rocket pants outside the fictional serial Robbie Rocket Pants.
Well, that's put a crimp on an otherwise damn fine plan.
So now everyone has to be nice to Rimmer.
Ah, you're sick. I don't want no part of this depravity.
Though Cat just kind of gets out of it.
It's true. They really do care about you.
I have not been including deleted scenes in these videos, but once I heard that there was an alternate take where Cat is pressured into pretending he likes Rimmer,
I think the cat's got something to say.
No?
I had to check it out.
Call me a sentimental old fool, but sometimes...
It seems to be causing him physical pain.
Almost. Okay kind of guy.
Really?
And look how relieved he is afterwards. It actually kind of helps to explain why he was so against the idea before. Though I do kind of like the idea that he just kind of goes fuck it when the time comes.
Sexual magnetism's a virus. Well, get me to a hospital. I'm a terminal case.
In quarantine, Cat joins in on mocking Rimmer.
Would you be so good as to launch the scouter, please, sir?
Aye, aye, sir. Scout along, sir.
Whether it's just to stick it to Rimmer or to defend Crichton. Probably a little of both.
It's not just humans. Look what happens when two male tigers are locked up together. One of them winds up in the other guy's toothpick.
Once again, Cat shows some smarts in this episode.
Yeah, but we all knew we could stroll out the door at any time. Not now, though.
He, along with Crichton, immediately get that all three of them being locked up together is going to be a problem, where Lister is just kind of in denial about it. And later, he tries to humor Rimmer in regards to the king of the potato people.
Could you see him? See who? The king?
Though it is possible that he actually believed that.
I think our only hope's the potato king.
Hard to tell if this line is sarcasm or not. Anyway, it turns out that Crichton and Cat had some kind of kerfuffle off screen. Not only did Crichton have to
love the word
repair his head,
kerfuffle.
2 hours it's taken me to panel beat my head back into shape. 2 damn hours.
but poor Cat had his arm broken at some point. There's an actual cast on his arm. That's not just a sling, like he just sprained it or something.
I swear I'm gonna turn his ears into a pair of maracas and tap dance a fandango in his throat.
I love how that threat is both violent and still kind of fabulous.
You won't be the waste disposal, Frankenstein. This time I'm gonna unscrew your neck bolts and microwave your hair.
I do have a problem with Cat immediately thinking of the movie monster as Frankenstein instead of his ancestor. That's a bit weird. To use myself as an example, I am not religious, but I grew up knowing who Jesus was just because of my culture. And I will forever picture this whenever I hear the name. If I were to end up hanging around with people from some other culture where Jesus was the name of something else, that wouldn't change the fact that whenever I heard the name, I'd first think of this guy. But whatever, bit of a nitpick. Speaking of nitpicking,
Frankenstein was the creator, not the monster. It's a common misconception held by all truly stupid people.
a little off topic, but I love that people in the
Here we
comments
go.
section of the video I did on this episode defended calling the monster Frankenstein after I said that people gave me crap about doing that in an older video. Made me feel a bit vindicated, so thanks to everyone who posted a comment like that.
Don't correct me. You know how much I hate being corrected. It really gets my freckles up.
It's
Feckles.
you moron. It really gets your hackles up. There's no such word as feckles.
Hi,
Anyway,
Julia.
it's funny because Crichton gently corrects and educates Cat all the time.
Kitty, what a nuisance.
The ability to move objects purely by the power of the mind.
It's only a problem now when they're both stressed out.
Eccles, heckles, hackles, schmeckles, whatever the hell they are. They're up right now and pointing at you, buddy.
Also, you know it's bad when these two are fighting since they usually get along. Also, Cat is quite aggressive here. I suspect he could be dangerous under the right circumstances.
You got the gizmo. Let's scram before the Mad Monk brothers rope us into an evening of philosophical musings and self-flagellation.
In Demons and Angels,
Hey guys, I think they're playing our tune near Wooga Waltz. Anyone care to join me in a quick step?
Cat is surprisingly cheerful about having to evacuate the ship before it blows up. Also, Cat and Crichton are buddies again. Yay! Here's another thing I should have mentioned in the video I did on this episode.
To play pool with planets, and I've given birth to twins. But I never thought in my entire life I'd taste an edible ball noodle.
Lister shouldn't remember playing pool with planets because the events in White Hole ended up in a redundant timeline. If these two got any closer to each other, they'd be kissing. Also, he's feeding Cat.
I find clothes a distraction from the pursuit of spiritual and intellectual fulfillment. I find spiritual and intellectual fulfillment a distraction from the pursuit of clothes.
I like to think that's his motto.
I found goldpost, no sign of dormouse cheeks though.
Goalpost head and dormouse cheeks. In any case, Cat's actually kind of a badass in this episode. He's being choked by Lister, who is being controlled, and he gets Lister to stop without seriously hurting him with a knee to the crotch. I love that smug expression afterwards.
See what you did to my blue song? Look at it. Plus, you almost killed me 3 times.
Also, he figures out before anyone else that Low
Plus,
Lister
you
is
almost
fighting
killed
for the
me 3
ship,
times.
since he already had a bazookoid ready by the time we can hear him and blows him away.
Just give me 1 week. That's all I ask.
He's also kind of mean to Lister.
Boy, this is gonna be fun.
Naturally, Rimmer approves. Of course, there's also the high and low versions of Cat.
Maybe he'd like to go for a little walk.
Low Cat seems to have an exaggerated version of Cat's more animalistic qualities. Even the teeth are exaggerated. He also intentionally burns himself at one point for laughs and knocks heads with Crichton. It seems like both of the alternate versions of Cat are really buddy-buddy with Crichton.
There is a grievous fault with thy weapon. It keepeth shooting people. You see? There it goes again.
Not much to say about High Cat, since all of the Highs are pretty much identical personality-wise. Might have been nice if he specifically had Cat's more positive
clothes are
traits,
more important
like
than his own
maybe
life.
he's super laid back and confident, but in a non-conceited way.
Don't fish swim south for the winter?
No, that's birds, sir.
Birds swim south for the winter? How do they breathe?
In Back to Reality, Cat has a couple of those moments where he starts off sounding smart and then blows it.
He committed suicide. He committed suicide. He committed suicide, and the fish committed suicide. There's some kind of link here that I can't quite remember.
And then Dwayne Dibley shows up.
What the hell's happened to my teeth? I can open beer bottles with my overbite.
It's kind of funny to think that this alternate version of Cat also has unusual teeth.
Teeth the Druids could use as a place of worship?
Obviously a lot less elegant than the canines. So basically Dwayne Dibley is lacking everything that makes Cat who he is.
Nylon shirt, plastic sandals, Airtex vest.
All of his clothes are polyester and they look bulky and uncomfortable, but he carries himself in a clumsy and awkward way.
Wayne Dibley.
He even has a
Hungry
dorky
again.
name, not to mention the buck teeth and mop haircut.
Be right back.
No, please, no. I don't want to be Dwayne Dibley.
Basically, Cat's nightmare scenario involves being ugly with no style or grace. That's kind of played for laughs when it's revealed in the end,
Because he is so mind-meltingly shallow.
Superficial is my middle name.
but it's kind of understandable. Yes, it's shallow, but if there's something you like about yourself and you suddenly lose it, it'd be hard to deal with. As an example, I don't care how shallow it is. If all of my hair fell out, I would never recover. As for Dwayne Dibley, I do find him
It's
funny,
true.
and as always, I applaud Danny John Jules for being able to play a character that is so different from Cat, and that's always fun to see. But I will confess that I don't really get why fans like him as much as they do. He shows up quite a few times after this in some form or another, and the audience just roars with applause every time. And I would have been fine with him showing up maybe twice. From what I gather, black nerds were pretty rare at the time, and so he was unique and different when he first appeared. I get it. He's kind of like British Steve Urkel, without the annoying catchphrase. To be fair, when I look back on it, his level of popularity baffles me too.
Yeah,
Anyway,
why were
that's
people
Cat
so
from
crazy
season
about
5.
Urkel?
He's
That was
still
a
dumb, but
strange
he still
time.
has the occasional moment where he's surprisingly smart and or badass. I love it when he's kind of a contradiction like that. Once again, Cat's hair is similar to previous iterations, only the ponytail is longer and more pronounced, and the hair around his head is sleeker on the sides, but still full on top where it forms kind of a sculpted bump. I'm not crazy about the sculpted bump, but I think it's trying to mimic the general shape of that sculpted
It's called
fade
the
style of
pompadour, I don't
haircut
give a
that
fuck.
black men had in the 90s. Though since his hair has a more Caucasian texture, it's doing kind of a Vanilla Ice thing. By the way, considering the change in texture and the
Here we
fact
go.
that Cat suddenly has a widow's peak, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that this is the point where Danny John Jules started wearing a wig. Though
Yeah.
honestly, sculpted bump notwithstanding, I do still like this style, if only because he now has a longer, softer ponytail that can whip around when he moves his head. Makes him even more sassy. We are gradually entering Cat's black vinyl phase, though it doesn't really become a thing until season 6 or so. Anyway, in Hollow Ship, Cat is wearing black vinyl shirt
Oh,
and
yes,
pants,
the black
which are
vinyl
probably
phase.
the same ones from Camille, with the cat belt and the silver heart necklace also from Camille. He's also wearing a waist-length jacket covered in, I'm not sure what you'd call these giant sequins, so giant sequins in about 3 different colors in a kind of chevron pattern. I love how he just sparkles like a mirror ball in this outfit. In the first part of Inquisitor, he's wearing the waist-length leopard print jacket from Body Swap, with the sparkly gray shirt from Polymorph, with a gold chain belt, which I think is from Justice, with black slacks. Again, lots of black with some sparkles and leopard print. Classy. He gets to wear a second outfit in this episode to signify a different
Bedazzled cat.
timeline. This one is a red plaid suit. I think the proper term is tartan suit. With a frilly white shirt and black tie, not unlike in Parallel Universe. Also matching white lace handkerchief and a big gold pin. Aside from the print, this is kind of season 1 and 2-ish. Also, he's got a little red scrunchie in his hair, which I find adorable for some reason.
It
I
is.
like this outfit a lot. I love it when he goes all out with the vinyl and sequins, but it's kind of nice when he occasionally reverts to a nice classy suit. The outfit he wears in Terror form is very similar to the one he wore in Camille.
He was in a suit mood
fact,
that day.
That's literally the same jacket
I'm
from
sorry, I'm talking
Camille.
with my mouth full.
They had assembled this outfit but felt it was missing something. So they got the jacket left over from Camille and spent all night coloring it with yellow fabric markers.
Because we tried to have it dyed, and they couldn't guarantee the
That's
fabric would fade
bonkers.
or that it would shrink or whatever. So we colored it in.
And apparently added some black vinyl accents. They didn't talk about that in the making of documentary, but it's easy to spot if you compare it to the original. Supposedly it didn't look very good in real life, but it looked great on film, so there you go. Again, like in Camille, he's wearing the black vinyl pants and shirt with the silver heart necklace
A
and
fan
cat
of
belt,
tuxedos.
but with a yellow leather tunic that has a big heart cut out of the chest.
I just like
love how
seeing
the
men in
silver heart
dressy
hangs in the
clothes, I
middle of it,
guess.
so it's a heart
Not
with a
really
heart.
tuxedos
That's
in
a neat
particular.
detail. There's also a silver scrunchie in his hair, which, again, is adorable. I love the outfit in Quarantine, but this one is almost completely made of pieces from
emoji for
previous
suit mood.
outfits. The black and white shirt, tie, and vest is from Marooned. The fuzzy black jacket is from Backwards, and I believe the pin on it is from the hat from Marooned. Also, I believe the black sequin pants are from DNA. He also has a black and white handkerchief that he uses to cover his mouth and nose early on, and then later uses it as a sling. Just to be very clear, when I point out them reusing costume pieces, it's just because I think it's interesting. I'm not being critical.
Cat
If
dresses
anything, I
like
think
a
it's
JoJo
clever how they
character.
managed to make it not obvious. The outfit
Somewhat.
in Demons and Angels plays with silver and black in some clever ways. Metallic silver turtleneck shirt, black pants that have a metallic sheen of some kind, could be the sequin pants again, a black waist-length jacket with fringe and sequins, and metallic silver shoes to match the shirt. I think I see some sort of black vest as well, but it's hard to make out. Also, his hair is different. The sculpted bump is gone, and there's a silver stripe glued to it in some way. Though it's weirdly inconsistent, there are some shots where the sculpted bump is there. Also, his ponytail is really poofy in this one. So, I normally wouldn't approve of metallic silver shoes, but they match the shirt, and that's really all the silver you can see on his clothes. The black practically dominates. High Cat is dressed like the other Highs, with the white robes and sandals and such, but he has a tiny stripe of facial hair under his lip and a silver bindi with a yin and yang symbol on his forehead. Also, he has the silver stripe in his hair, which is a little odd since he isn't supposed to care about fashion. Could be that the makeup department didn't want to remove it. It does kind of go with the bindi. Low Cat looks kind of like a very fashionable caveman. His hair is down and kind of messy. Of course, there are the exaggerated canines, and his eyebrows have been exaggerated as well. But his outfit involves a lot of fur and leopard print, but with some jewelry. Too bad we don't get to see him more. The outfit is kind of hard to make out. In the beginning of Back to Reality, the sculpted hair bump is still gone, but it returns at the end of the episode. Sadly, we don't get to see Cat as himself too much in this episode, so it's hard to get a good look at what he's wearing, other than it's a gold leather jacket. Doesn't appear to be the same one from Time Slides, unless maybe the black furry hood was removable. If so, they added little black accents around the shoulders, and he's wearing it with a plain black shirt and black slacks. Once again, I'm not a fan of metallic leather, but there's a lot of black to balance it out, so it works. So I'm surprised that people didn't get on me for this. But when I talked about the tongue-tied sequence in Parallel Universe, I didn't mention that that song was redone and released as a single.
With really bad cover art.
The main reason is because if you watch it, you can tell that it was done after Season 5, and it's a little easier to talk about if I cover it in order. This project was completely Danny's brainchild.
I almost forgot I talked about this.
The letters I ever got, they always, nearly every letter, asked about tongue-tied.
Mainly because several years after Tongue-Tied, people were still complimenting him on it. He directed the music video, and I believe he basically planned the whole thing. There are basically two versions of this. One is just the cat singing Tongue-Tied. The other is basically one of those videos that is an 18-minute mini-movie with a lot of padding around a cat singing Tongue-Tied. Danny plays multiple roles in this. First, he's a janitor named Leo, of course.
Check this out, right?
Frankenstein makes an appearance, and she's wearing a collar that has a lightning bolt on it, which could either be a reference to how the monster Frankenstein was brought to life with electricity, or it could be a nod to Elvis because he used a lightning bolt as his logo. Because Elvis is also in this.
I'm the king of rock and roll.
No, you ain't. Little Richard is.
And yes, that is the same Elvis impersonator from Meltdown.
No, actually, he called me and said, "Do you remember me?" I said, "No." And he said, "I was on Red Dwarf." I said, "Come again?" And I said, "Oh, I remember you." Well, I saw you for the first time. I didn't feel a quiver.
Elvis is singing Tongue-Tied. I am dying right now.
I could do it if I was the cat.
Elvis singing Tongue-Tied is pretty neat.
Leo is interested in a girl, but doesn't know how to talk to her, but figures if he were the cat, he'd have the confidence to do it.
Anyone can change, man. Anyone.
So he falls asleep and dreams that he's the cat, and his love interest is a female cat, apparently named Kit.
Even the animal
the
cats get
Kit
fashion
dog.
reviews.
When I saw you for the first time, my knees began to quiver.
Aw, she's cute. Why do fangs have that effect? There's also a whole lot of cameos. Both Hollies, Queeg, Chris Berry, who I nearly missed, because I'm not used to him being one of the talking heads, Robert Llewellyn out of makeup, Craig Charles without dreads, and Dwayne Dibley. I love how he's wearing one of those stiff dickies and it's untucked, because he doesn't know how formal wear works. I do love everyone's reaction to the brown trousers line. Female Holly has the same kind of reaction to "I drool so much I drown."
She's
Anyway,
like, the fuck?
video's a lot of fun, especially if you love Cat like me
That's
and
cute.
love to see him dance. I'm not thrilled with this version of the song, though. I like the original better. This one seems a little overproduced. Either way, yeah, you'd watch this purely for the visuals, in my opinion. However, the B-side of the single
God,
has
that
Danny
cover
John
art.
Jules singing the Red Dwarf theme, and that sounds pretty good. The music kind of overpowers his voice at times, though. Aw, Cat got the girl. So that dream ends, and then...
Aw.
You've been listening to the fat man, haven't you?
Why?
Judge Dredd?
I am the law.
You're not gonna beat me up and plant drugs on me, are you?
Okay, Cat's part is over, so I'm just gonna gloss over the rest of it.
That joke aged way too
Anyway,
well.
there's more story, and then another version of Tongue-Tied. This one is being sung by an R&B singer named Tabby Ranks, who is, of course, also played by Danny.
Who does he remind me of?
Definitely not a fan of this version of the song, but it's kind of a parody, so I
He
don't think we're
reminds me of
supposed to
somebody.
like it.
I can't put my finger on it though.
I mean, he has Tabby carved into the back of his hair, for God's sake. Also teeth. It's always about the teeth with alternate versions of Cat.
Yep.
So there's more story, and Leo gets the girl in the end, of course.
Dwayne Dibley? I don't want to meet Dwayne Dibley. He's a dork.
There's also a making-of video, which I
cute.
highly recommend watching. Danny gives some info about the various people who the cat is modeled after.
You had to move like somebody. So I thought, James Brown.
He is MC Hammer like. Maybe that's what I was
Basically.
Or maybe Bobby Brown.
Nobody can sit next to Richard Pryor, which is a kind of facial expressions. It's Richard Pryor.
Had I been a little more on the ball, I would have referenced this when I did the intro video, but better late than never. Also, Dwayne Dibley is modeled after the Nutty Professor.
Come over here, we have to perform for the camera now, love it.
Plus, we get to see Robert Llewellyn and Craig Charles being silly between takes.
I think it was a cigar. George, you might be fat.
As far as
He's
Cat's
so
look in this
mature.
video, I can't place where the hair is from, but it looks kind of season 7-ish, though this was made earlier than that. There's also a big black bow in it, which is adorable. He also alternates between two suits. One looks a lot like the one from Parallel Universe, except the jacket has tails. He also wears the tartan suit from Inquisitor. Also a white tux with tails. Pretty sure this is the only completely new outfit. Also in the making of video, we see him between takes wearing the yellow coat from Terraform, but it's not anywhere in the finished video.
You after my stream.
Oh, here we go.
When it came time to cast the cat for Red Dwarf USA, they basically looked for an American equivalent of Danny John Jules. And he was really impressed with who they got.
Hinton Battle. This guy was like a hero to us dancers and that over here, you know.
Hinton Battle is not super well known, I don't think, but he has been in a lot, mostly on Broadway. He's done choreography as well with a lot of minor TV appearances.
My bookmarks
However,
are off.
you may not know him by name, but if you are a Buffy fan, you have seen him before. Yeah, let that sink in for a minute. They got this guy to play an American version of the cat. Yeah, say what you will about the rest of Red Dwarf USA, but Hinton Battle as Cat could have been awesome.
I love Once More with Feeling.
Sadly, though, his talents are kind of wasted. He's given very little screen time, thanks in part to how they have Holly explaining what he is and his whole history before he shows up. I do kind of appreciate the humor in them setting it up like he's going to be some kind of horrible mutated feline monster. And instead we get this.
Yeah, that's not bad. Let me take this one from the top.
But the Hinton Battle version of Cat, I hereby dub the Battle Cat,
Battle
is just
Cat.
kind of hanging around when we first see him, where Cat kind of showed up with a bang. I mean, Battle Cat is being sufficiently cat-like. I like how he seems to prefer high places, and he's just kind of lazing around the way a cat would. But it's just kind of less fun than when Cat first showed up. He does get a little moment to shine, though. I love how he plays with the string, marks it as his so no one will take it. He comes across as a little more outwardly crazy than Cat without being sassy. I don't mind any of this, by the way. He's a different actor, so he's going to have a different portrayal. He does have a couple of lines that I love because they convey so well that he gives no fucks.
Your whole existence is due to me.
Thanks. Yes. Oh, it's mine.
Stop it! You keep repeating the same words over and over. You're gonna drive us nuts.
I don't care.
But yeah, they found this guy who was a singer and dancer.
Got a great voice, too.
And then they don't give him any singing or dancing to do. There isn't a lot to say about his outfit since it's hard to make out. I can see black pants and a purple blazer type jacket. It's got some thin bands of what looks like black vinyl on the sleeves. I think it looks pretty cool, but it's hard to see well. I think under that he's wearing some kind of low-cut V-neck shirt. It's kind of dressy, but more casual than how our cat dresses. Not sure why alternate Battle Cat is wearing what looks like a Letterman jacket. Maybe it's from an alternate universe where Cat doesn't dress up as much.
Now that was a show-stopping number. Not quite the fireworks that I was looking for.
Get out of here.
But Hinton Battle was unavailable to film the second pilot, and they couldn't find anyone who had a similar background, so they just totally changed the character.
Listen, Hume, I do not need survival tips from a man with less backbone than a vegetable burrito.
I'm pretty sure you all know who
backbone
Terry
than a
Farrell
vegetable
is,
burrito.
if only from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, plus she was in Hellraiser 3.
Then
What the fuck is that?
That's never gonna get old.
Yep.
So I don't think I really need to talk about her. Also, full disclosure, I haven't seen Deep Space Nine in ages, so I'm not really sure what I'd say.
I have
about
seen
her
it since I
Dax
made
other
this
than
video.
I remember liking the character and thinking she was pretty badass. Also a way better match for Worf than Counselor Troy was, but that's not hard to do.
Yeah.
Basically, this version of Cat, who I shall henceforth refer to as Feral Cat, is still cat-like but in a different way. Where the original cat
I'm gonna
was
wrap
more
this
of a
cat video to
vain,
bring you Buffy the
fun-loving
Vampire
free spirit who
Slayer.
was also kind of an asshole, though was oddly cute about it. Basically kind of a parody of a house cat. This one comes across as more like a feral cat.
I've scavenged for food. I've lived off my wits. I survived. I'm a cat. I don't need anyone.
She's bloodthirsty and warrior-like, though going by how Lister talks to her, I'm guessing less badass than she thinks she is, or maybe she's all talk.
You're not going out there alone, okay?
They actually managed to fit a pretty good amount of info about this one in the dialogue. She has 9 lives, apparently literally.
Die? You feel a little embarrassed. You get up, you start again.
Plus she can see in the dark.
Slow down. It's okay for you. You have night vision.
Okay, I was originally going to talk about this when I was on season 2, but that video was running long and it was going to come up again here anyway. So,
and as soon as I find
Oh, here we go. More TMI cat facts coming up.
for me, my wandering days are over, buddy.
Once again, it makes more sense for a female cat to say this line.
Maybe someday I'll find the 8 or 9 guys who are right for me, and then my rambling days will be over.
Because I just haven't talked enough about feline mating rituals. The way actual cats mate is that a female will go out and attract multiple male cats and, each gets a turn at her. This is why there are so many sexual terms like catting around and the name of a certain woman's body part that allude to cats. If we judged cats the same way we judge humans, female cats would be considered slutty. Going back to original cat, I think what they're trying to go for is just that general idea of having an exaggerated sex drive, because an unfixed male cat will try to hump anything. But female cats are the ones who literally have multiple partners, so I know it may seem like I'm harping on this too much, but with all the other obscure cat behaviors they sneak in on this show that are fairly accurate, I guess I'm just kind of surprised
Now
that
Bjork
they got
is
one
in
of
the
them
background.
backwards. Oh, the facts I learned from that
Background music.
cat watching book.
That is something else I will never understand. How does a human woman get by with just one man a night? One man! I mean, that's not even enough to get your sweat pores open.
Also, Lister's reaction makes me wonder if there was going to be sexual tension between those two. Like Lister and Kat's relationship wasn't weird enough already.
You stay here and suck your thumb, and I'll go and rip off its head, spit down its throat, and turn its lower intestines into balloon animals.
I missed that one before. I was thinking it was an original line, but it's also from Justice.
It would certainly survive long enough to make balloon animals out of your lower intestines.
I like this version of Cat just fine. It's a very different take on the idea, but she's still cat-like, just in a different way, and it works. She doesn't seem dumb, other than maybe being too willing to put herself in danger, but she's fun and has a kind of cuteness to her. Like she has an almost childlike excitement about killing something. My only complaint would be that, for the most part, it's a fairly common way to depict a cat person. The ubiquitous sexy cat woman. You don't see too many cat men in media, other than there being a lot of cat boys in yaoi for some reason. So that's one of the things
I don't know
love
how
about
I
the
know
original
that.
Cat.
I don't read
It's a more
yaoi.
unique take on the cat person trope. But I still like this one, and I think Terry Farrell does a good job with it. Outfit-wise, again, it's hard to make out, but she's wearing a bodysuit of some kind. I believe it's brown with some kind of print. It's got some kind of belt, which reminds me a little of Julie Newmar as Catwoman. There's also
That's a
big
neat
chunky
detail.
earrings and a really thick collar-like necklace that looks almost Egyptian. Both are gold. The jewelry does kind of set her apart from the typical Catwoman. I suspect that this one is also into fashion to some degree. She also wears a lot of makeup and her hair is teased out. So there you go, that's pretty much all of my thoughts on Cat. As far as how he's portrayed in Red Dwarf Seasons 1 through 5 and Red Dwarf USA, honestly, this is a character that some fans find uninteresting, supposedly because he never changes or grows. And as you can probably tell, I wholeheartedly disagree with that. He may not have a blatant character arc of any kind, but he definitely goes through some changes. Cats are adaptable, and this one's no exception. He started off having the ship to himself, then made at first casual friends with some other people he finds, then becomes part of the Red Dwarf crew. Season 1, he doesn't even recognize his shadow right away. In Season 3, he's flying a spaceship. In Season 1, he's only coming around for the food and company. In Season 3, he's hanging around with everyone and being part of the conversation. If that's not character development, I don't know what is. After this, I'll be picking up with a Red Dwarf vlog starting on Season 6, and the next cat
Woo,
videos won't
Gunmen of the
start till I've covered
Apocalypse.
the rest of the series. See you then.
Channel awful.
I've given pleasure to the world because I have such a beautiful ass. Well, that's true.
Can I go now?
Can I go now? Oh, we're up to sirens now, aren't we? Alright, let me get caught up on the damn chat. I really should have paused that video in the middle, but it just kind of went too quickly from one subject to the next, and... Oh my god, seriously? Oh, fuck. Okay. When the only show you've seen that anybody's discussing is Red Dwarf and you have no idea what this other stuff is everyone is talking about. I got as far as ponies and got lost. Yeah, that's how it is in the chat sometimes. Sometimes even I start, like, ignoring certain topics people get on because I'm just like, okay, I don't care about this. Of course, TV tropes make sure to remind us that some fans like to joke that My Little Pony is about a pimp named Spike and his harem of girlfriends. Of course. Oh, I guess I did say I wasn't gonna point out all the times when Kat had an idea with 2 minor drawbacks, and then I did. I didn't think I mentioned all of them, though. I guess I must have. Whatever. Thought it was a chilling morality tale about a couple of naughty ducks that got turned into a 9 dissolves into blooper babble. That was a cute outtake. Laser cannons would be Star Wars. Yeah, I think I read that earlier. Makes sense Cat would confuse them since cats would have been educated by media from the ship's library. That's actually kind of a good point. By the way, if I was alive in the days of short cartoons that preceded the movie, I'd probably be like Kat, more interested in the cartoons than the main feature. They live on a spaceship. Why wouldn't they assume there are shields and laser cannons? I mean, the shields make sense. Laser cannons are kind of specific. The ship wouldn't have to have those specifically. They could have photon torpedoes like in Star Trek. Like Star Trek doesn't have laser cannons. Just as an example.
I've given pleasure to the world because I've such a beautiful ass.
I love how seriously he's stunned. How seriously stunned he is that the Inquisitor expected more from more of an argument. You need more? Yeah. That was cute. We should rename the Worf effect to the Celestia effect. Nah, I think Worf is still more famous for it. I mean, he's a cat. The only thing to worry about is when the food bowl has a visible bottom, which no matter how much food is still in it, means he'll starve. I'm gonna skip this opening. I know it's I usually watch the first one, but since I've been watching videos this whole time, I don't feel like watching it. We'll watch it at the beginning of the next stream. I'd like to see a band comprised of Spike from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Buffy, Transformers. Alright, there was a Spike in Transformers, wasn't there? X-Men Evolution and Luke Perry from the Buffy film. All of the Spikes. Yeah, I also forgot about Spike Ore. Oh, there were only 3 and I pointed them out. Oh well. I'm skipping over a couple comments just to kind of speed things up just a little bit. I always found it hard to tell if Kat was being sarcastic or not in the line. You taught him that. That's terrific. I don't think that was sarcasm. I think that was a Kat is dumb gag. You love the word kerfuffle? Well, Rob Grant wrote a book called Colony where he uses the word kerfuffle a few times in the opening chapters in a very funny way. Excuse me. Remember, Kat's basically a heathen by the standards of his religion. Yeah, but see, I'm also a heathen by the standards of my religion. And even if I hear Jesus, I'm going to think of the Jesus from Christianity. That's why I used myself as an example. He doesn't have to hold it in reference. It's a cultural thing. It'd be a cultural thing for him. It does make me wonder if the fantastical cats think of Edgar Winter's Frankenstein as a hymn. The Awooga Waltz, that is a good line. You should visit Puxatawny sometime, might do you a world of good. No thanks. Why should I stay with any of you? 4 of you have tried to kill me in the past. That's a good one. One of you succeeded. Also, when I saw Jamie Foxx's Electro in Amazing Spider-Man, I got Dwayne Dipley vibes. That's funny. I don't know which My Little Pony character was grosser, Philomena when she's molting and sickly, or the Paris sprites around Rarity. Oh, yeah. I would say Philomena was pretty gross. I was surprised at how gross that episode was. Again, that's something you don't normally see in a show for little girls. I've lost almost half my hair. How do you think I feel? It took me a second to realize what you were responding to there. Imagine what cats people think of anime characters like Felix from Resident Evil 0. Whenever I hear the name Urkel, all I can think of is this kid was the first voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. I didn't think he was bad, though. I thought it kind of suited the character. A little different than how we know Sonic to sound today, but I'm glad the Beavis and Butthead knockoffs from Step by Step didn't get the same attention Urkel did. I don't even remember that. I remember the show, but I don't remember the characters. So I guess that proves your point. Black vinyl has always been an interesting fashion choice. I love the look of black vinyl, how glossy it is. Bedazzled cat. I love the giant sequins jacket, yeah. A jacket with giant sequels. Cat just dresses like a JoJo character. He's a little more sensible with the colors, though. But yeah, I can see the similarity somewhat. Thinking about Cat, I hope a version of MCU's Wasp eventually develops the various uniforms she had in the comics. I didn't really read most of those comics. I mostly just read X-Men, so all I know about MCU is the not MCU, but all I know about Marvel characters is MCU. There we go. We need a word count of pants, shirt, vest, metallic, black, and cat belt. Oh god, someone said in the comments section something like, make a drinking game out of how often Dina mentions the black balancing out the color or whatever. The black balances it out, something like that. I love your description of Low Cat as a very fashionable caveman. Yeah, well, that's what he looks like to me. Apparently Howard Burton described Low Cat's fashion sense as roadkill. Yeah, that makes sense. Just whatever animals were laying around. He just made outfits out of them. Even the animal cats get fashion reviews. I wouldn't call that a fashion review so much as just noticing all the little details. Tongue-tied exists. Or Frankenstein's lightning bolt collar piece could be a reference to a certain Pegasus that a lot of people now associate with Pride Month because of her mane. Oh, God. I love Queeg's grimace at the line, "My trousers, they go brown, girl." I'll admit the music video version has grown on me a lot. Yeah, I mostly just like the visuals, not so much that version of the song, but why is Dwayne there? I mean, why is anybody there? Why is fucking Elvis there? Why are Craig Charles and Robert Llewellyn there? Not in character. So that's where Linkara used that joke? I'm not sure which joke you mean. Did Danny John Jules have any other singing roles? I don't know of any. Why Judge Dredd other than it also being a British thing? Maybe he's more popular in the UK or something. I know he sang occasionally in Maid Marian and Her Merry Men. Oh, well, there you go. Oh, what joke aged well? The bit where Judge Dredd says, "I am the law," and he says, "You aren't going to plant drugs on me and beat me up, are you?" That joke is unfortunately just as appropriate or just as timely as it was then. Honestly, I'm shocked no one here mentions Twilight Sparkle's inappropriate horn and bridal gossip. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna try to ignore the My Little Pony comments. I think that part of the conversation has kind of died down. It doesn't need to keep going. Pretty much just because it was a British thing, it'd be like a Batman cameo and something American. Oh, okay. I didn't know Judge Dredd was. I guess the original comic was British. I didn't know that. That explains it a little. That seemed really random to me at the time. Only likely to get the rights to do it because Dredd's rights aren't that expensive comparatively. Ah. It's fun watching the cast goofing around between takes, yeah. Add adorable to the word count list. Yeah, I do say that a lot. Everybody's saying Battle Cat. He could have been Queeg if Feral Cat became the official American cat. Yeah, that would have worked. Maybe. Battle Cat to Janny John Jules' Cringer. I don't like that implication. That implies he's somehow better than Danny John Jules' version. Which I know you didn't intend, but that's what it makes me think of. I have not played Stray yet. I have it. I have not quite gotten around to playing it. I really need to. It'd be a good game to stream, too, since the frickin' Elgato stopped working. Battle Cats in space. Jules' Red Dwarf cover sounds like what an 80s Red Dwarf movie would sound like with a remix theme. Farrell was on Becker. Yeah, I know. I never really watched it, so I didn't mention it. we go. A cat society lost in space. A new version of Thundercats would be awesome. Hellraiser 3 is worth watching solely for that one scene in the church from her reaction to Pinhead just having fun taunting the priest. That bit is awesome. Hellraiser 3 is very hit or miss for me, but that is one of the scenes that's great. Excuse me. Terry Farrell's still a better Catwoman than Halle Berry.
Oh, sorry, baby.
I bumped her with my foot. She's under my chair because I have my little heater on. There's no such thing as jet-powered rocket pants outside the science fiction serial Robbie Rocket Pants. Then what the fuck is that? Cats would basically be sexual deviants if they were human, yup. I still like Terry Farrell's cat just because it was different take on the character. Danny's cat never just had the same feral nature. He plays with his food but not his prey, yeah. Terry's cat is the kind that would be an extinction level event on the local bird population. Yep. Good way to describe her. I don't know how I know that. I don't read Yowie. That's a suspiciously specific denial. I don't see how it's suspiciously... It came up in the video. It's not like I mentioned it out of nowhere. By the way, everybody, I don't read Yowie. You know? Also, did you ever find the My Little Pony creepypasta called Parchments based on Lesson Zero? Yeah, I did. It's pretty stupid. Because until I heard about Parchment, I thought only Pinky got her creepypasta cupcakes. Oh, pretty much all the characters have. I know who Philomena was. The amount of chat means we're engaged. I wish you guys would disengage a little bit sometimes. Star Trek does have phasers, which are basically lasers, but with a name they can trademark for selling toys. Well, yeah, but still. Again, it's not a word they use, so... Also, they don't fire them from the ship, so... I don't know what's worse in the fandom, spike abuse or scoot abuse. I didn't know about spike abuse. I definitely knew about scoot abuse, though. Oh my god. There's a character in My Little Pony that's named Kerfuffle, spelled how it sounds with a double thif in the fuff. Whatever. Jaleel White's Sonic kind of annoys me. He was good for the time, but nowadays he's just a bunch of 90s catchphrases that he says over and over again. Yeah, but I mean, it was the first voice of Sonic, so you know they hadn't completely nailed down his character yet. That's how I like to look at it. Went back to My Little Pony and I'm completely lost. Yeah, I was trying to ignore the pony talk, but then it pulled me back in. Wasp in the comics was known for having the most number of uniforms worn due to her experience as a fashion designer. Oh, that's neat. Oh. Oh, thank you, Mega Man. Love Red Dwarf. He says. Luckily for you, Dina has some vlogs that can help you learn at least about the first 3 seasons. That's true. You can watch my Little Pony vlogs if you want to learn about the show. Or if enough people want me to, I could maybe watch them on a stream. That might be kind of interesting because, like I said, I haven't revisited them in a very long time. I do occasionally go back and watch my own videos, but I haven't watched the pony ones in a while. I did reference My Little Pony in an Alien Nation video, though. Something about, like, you have an appointment this afternoon. And she goes, this afternoon? And it reminds me of that running joke in Party of One where Pinkie Pie kept saying, or everyone kept saying, as in, this afternoon, this afternoon? I do remember some things from My Little Pony. Oh. Oh, Mega Man tipped twice. I hope you did that intentionally. Same message. Also, did you ever get to watch Friendship is Musical? I'm not sure what that is. So I guess not. Oh, that's right. He did sing in Little Shop of Horrors. I can't believe I forgot that. Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. And of course, Labyrinth. Yeah, obviously he sang in those roles. I don't know why I didn't think of that. How could you ignore all My Little Pony comments? It's not easy, apparently. Yeah, Judge Dredd was a satire / parody of American action movies in 2000 AD, a comic anthology magazine popular in Britain and where a lot of British comic writers got their start. Oh, okay. I guess I didn't know that. Neil Gaiman, Alan Moore, Garth Ennis, Mark Miller, Warren Sillis, etc. Here comes Series 6, in my opinion, joint first with Series 1. Oh, as in you think it's the best along with Series 1? Mr. Data Maximum Warp, disengage. What, sir? We shall never disengage the chat. I will send my army against thine Flutter Guy, Granny Smith, Jaleel White, Big Mac. What the fuck? Feel I should read Sweet Apple Massacre or the Killer Rarity Verse. Killer Rarity Verse is really good. Sweet Apple Massacre was kind of dumb, and also I don't know if you can find it now. When I did that video about, Grimdark My Little Pony fanfiction, I actually couldn't find Sweet Apple Massacre. Transphasers? Mega Man, that reminds me of when we were doing the Hellraiser streams and the Hell Priest himself showed up and gave his blessing. Oh, right, I forgot about that. That was so funny. Yeah, a guy showed up with named Hell Priest and he had Pinhead as his avatar. That was so funny. Okay, well, so far I think 2 people would like for me to do a My Little Pony vlog stream session. Red Dwarf is really the best of both worlds in reference with Star Trek and other sci-fi shows. Yeah. Pinky, Cupcakes, Rarity, Killer Rarity Verse, Rainbow Dash, Rainbow Factory. Oh, right. Fluttershy Parchments. That was more like Twilight Parchments, because Fluttershy was the victim in that. Twilight and Applejack will have ones, but I can't think of any. Cheerly has a garden too. PTSD. Yeah. Woof, Cheerly's garden broke me a little. Oh yeah, someone else mentioned it. Twilight was the killer in Parchment. So that's, I think, 3 people who would like to see the My Little Pony vlog streams. Also, Pinky has Smile HD? I've never heard of that one. Sweet Apple Massacre is not good from what I've heard anyway. Yeah, I just can't buy Big Mac as a killer. He had such comments to post for us. I'll put a 3rd vote in for My Little Pony stream as well. Okay, well, alright. I guess the majority of like... A majority of the regulars seem to want it, so I'll do it sometime. I don't know when. Special Iron's like, sure, why not? Honest Mistake with Parchment. Smile HD is on YouTube if you dare watch it. Oh, it's like a short? Like a short animated thing? Interesting. You could watch Smile HD right now for a reaction. Alright, let me go to the bathroom really quick, and then I guess we'll watch one more of these, or maybe two, we'll see. Depends on how long it takes. I am getting to the shorter videos now, so be right back. Get out of the way, you little butt. Silly girl. Hi, Teeny Tara. Oh, what's the matter? Okay. Tara, I'll also watch My Little Pony Watch Party stream Mummy. Mummy. Can't believe they turned Big Mac Davis? What? Evil over a goof in a Doom walkthrough. Oh, you're talking about... Okay, you're talking about something else. Different Big Mac. Get out of the way, you little butt. Now, Dina, that's no way to talk to Lee. Applejack's probably involves disowning Apple Bloom because she doesn't like apples. Oh, let me think. Actually, I remember reading an Applejack one. Did she like... I feel like there was I read a story at some point where Applejack like did inappropriate things to Apple Bloom. But I'm not entirely sure. If you want to you could post the link in the, what do you call it? The Reddit. Not Reddit. What the fuck? Where the hell even is it on my taskbar? The Discord server. We're talking about My Little Pony and I couldn't think of Discord. I couldn't think the word Discord. That's funny. If anyone wants to link to the Discord server, I can't seem to find it right now. I don't want to waste any time. I like Big Macs and I cannot lie. Another My Little Pony animator on YouTube. There is no dialogue. It's all visual with some sound. His videos have a lot of the characters acting like the biggest creeps, and it's hilarious. Okay. Why do lions have fur coats? Because they look pretty daft in plastic anoraks? Applejack flipping out over Apple Bloom not liking apples is a running joke in the fandom anyway. Oh, okay. I don't think I heard that one, or I don't remember it. I saw a comic where Apple Bloom was sent to an orphanage and her roommate was Scootaloo. That's fucking hilarious. Tried posting a link once, but it won't let me post links. It's a bit of a conundrum. Oh, that's right. You guys can't post links, which is the whole reason I told him to post it. Oh my god, I'm dumb. Well, I guess I do have to do it then. Where is the fucking thing? I have way too many icons in my taskbar. I think I'll find it better on this monitor. Where the fuck is it? Why am I not seeing it? I feel so dumb right now. Oh, well, it's got the fucking... I don't remember how to invite people. There we go. Yeah, I probably shouldn't do this on the... Send an invite link. There we go. There you go. There's the Discord server. I so would want to do a My Little Pony animation, but Adobe Animate costs $20 a month, and I think, excuse me, puppet rigs can be hard to find on a safe site. Yeah, it would be. Oh, hi, Digital Indra. Perfect. Alright, let's go. One more, I guess. We'll see. Oh. Sirens.
Welcome to Red Dwarf Season 6. After Red Dwarf USA failed, the creators returned to the original show. Of course, after 5 seasons, it had begun to stagnate a bit, so once again, changes were made. Again, major costume changes like in Season 3, but they didn't stop there. They almost rebooted it in a way and treated it as a good jumping on point for anyone who is seeing the show for the first time.
Who the hell are you?
So Lister has been in some kind of deep sleep for 200 years and has woken up with amnesia.
You have been out for over 200 years. Well, I tried to wake you up in the spring, but you absolutely insisted on another 3 months.
Then he finds out that he is someone whose favorite breakfast is cornflakes with onions and a glass of chilled vindaloo sauce.
That's like some barely human, grossed out slime ball.
Oh, it's all flooding back, is it, sir?
And now we're reminded of Kachansky because she's gradually going to become important again.
You dated her once for 3 weeks before she discarded you for a catering officer.
Relationship upgrade retcon confirmed. He also can't play the guitar.
Sir, as soon as your personality is fully restored, you will firmly believe you can play the guitar like the ghost of Hendrix.
That is actually going to come up again in this episode.
Is there something good you can tell me about myself?
You sometimes help me out with my laundry duties by turning your underpants inside out and extending the wear time by 3 weeks.
There are actually plenty of good things about Lister, but of course they don't come up because rule of funny.
What's that? That's Mr. Rimmer, sir. This is his light bee.
In any case, I guess Rimmer's light bee was being kept in the freezer and now it has to be reheated? That's odd.
Downloading physical form.
Wait, Rimmer could have been a Tyrannosaurus Rex? Actually, why are all of those things hologram options anyway?
Load charisma. Load neuroses.
That's our Rimmer. So now Rimmer has been downloaded.
That reminds me of the status bars in Panzer Dragoon Saga, with the layers of color.
Now Lister's memories start coming back.
Health bars, whatever.
Anyway, in a meeting a bit later, it's revealed that they have lost Red Dwarf.
Ew.
This is obviously the major change I was talking about earlier. That's a pretty bold move, removing the title character from the show. They could have renamed it to Starbug. Apparently Lister parked it on a blue-green planetoid and then forgot which one it was.
Not the same as little blue-green planetoids. Blue-green and planetoidy.
Though Crichton thinks it was stolen.
Who would steal a gigantic red trash can with no brakes and 3 million years on the clock?
But that they have a good chance of getting it back now, but it'll involve maneuvering through an asteroid belt.
Crichton, you're forgetting about Space Corps Directive 1742.
No member of the Corps should ever report for duty in a ginger toupee.
Oh, here come the Space Corps directives again.
1743 then.
I love
I
these.
see. No registered vessel should attempt to transverse an asteroid belt without deflectors.
Yes, God, he's pedantic.
Also, Cat is now officially a pilot.
There's an old cat proverb. It's better to live 1 hour as a tiger than a whole lifetime as a worm.
There's an old human proverb. Whoever heard of a worm-skin rug?
That exchange was a holdover from Red Dwarf USA.
There's an old cat proverb. It says it's better to live an hour as a tiger than a lifetime as a worm.
There's an old human saying, whoever heard of a worm-skin rug?
Also, Cat can somehow smell when things are coming.
Something's coming.
Nothing on the navicom.
I can smell it. Something big.
There's a meteor bigger than King Kong's first dump of the day. It's steaming straight towards us.
Steaming.
Stay classy, Rimmer.
Face it, we're deader than corduroy.
So apparently they can use the waste disposal unit as a cannon, and Crichton
Deader than
plans to launch a
corduroy.
ball of garbage laced with nitroglycerin at the oncoming meteor. Pretty resourceful.
Ready, Crichton? Fire!
Oh, my Amazon
And it
package
works.
is running a
Go
bit late.
guys.
Well, that's a bummer.
Check out your screens.
Afterwards,
That's
they come
okay.
across a ship.
I don't have
and
to
then
have it
more,
today.
I'm getting them too. 10. No, 12.
All derelict.
until they're in a spaceship graveyard.
Recommend we stop engines on the
Listen,
launch.
Butterpat Head.
Engine stopped, Scouter launched.
I guess Crichton has gotten a promotion and is now allowed to command launching the Scouter.
I, Mr. Crichton, am the one who says, launch Scouter.
So the Scouter enters a ship and finds a message written on the floor in blood and viscera.
P-S-I-R-E-N-S. Sirens. Who would do that?
Someone who badly needed a pen. What I don't understand is why he went to the trouble of using his kidney as a full stop.
I wonder why they bothered with the P. I mean, I know these aren't exactly the sirens from Greek mythology, but if you're bleeding to death, are you really going to take the time to make the distinction? So now they're going to watch the black box recording.
Oh, God, you're beautiful. I can't resist you. Get that straw out of my ear!
Get that straw out of my ear. I didn't pick up on that when I made this
And
video.
it was a little too much for Rimmer. I can't blame him. Aside from the straw, that was pretty disturbing.
Oh no, the straw line wasn't the one I missed. It was you squeezed all the ketchup
So
out of
anyway,
me
they
burger.
figured out by the recording, along with a few others that the Scouter collected, that these are Gelfs called Sirens, who use some sort of mind powers to alter your perception. Kind of like Camille from Season 4, but their intentions are a lot more malevolent. They trick you into landing your ship on one of the asteroids, suck out your brains, and steal whatever they can from your ship.
They shouldn't bother us though, there's barely a snack on board.
Since they're in a race against time, since they don't want Red Dwarf to get too far away, they have to stay on track and they decide that they're just going to have to resist the siren's call.
Incoming message.
And here's their first attempt.
If we are to survive, we need males to spread their seed amongst our number.
You heard him. They want seed spreaders. I'm gonna apply. Call me paranoid, but you don't think they would these sirens do things, do you?
We have to give him some credit. If this were an earlier season, the rest of the crew would have had to physically hold him back.
Had we not been here to stop him, he would now be on one of those asteroids, crawling around without a brain, trying to write, "Oh boy, was I suckered," with his own intestinal tract.
And here's attempt number 2.
This is Captain Tao of the SCS
Oh, why was I
Pioneer.
suckered?
We're under attack.
Captain Tao, I think that's also the name of the Red Dwarf captain in Red Dwarf USA.
It's interesting how many things from Red Dwarf USA actually end up in the show at some point.
Don't try to help us.
And oh look, Kachansky is with her. By the way, I think this might be the last appearance of Claire Grogan as Kachansky.
I've been keeping back 3 bullets. One for me, one each for the two kids.
Kids?
Jim, Bexley, come to mummy.
So Lister has two sons named Jim and Bexley in two different timelines? That's confusing.
Tune into Sanity FM.
Or he would if this wasn't just the sirens tricking him.
Of course,
Tune into Sanity FM.
Pin-up.
So now there's suddenly a giant flaming meteorite headed right for them.
There's nothing on the radar. So, I think it's another illusion.
Or maybe not.
Relax, gentlemen, you're quite safe.
And it turns out Crichton was right.
Smug mode.
But now there's another
smug
one and they can't
mode.
tell if it's real or not, though Rimmer insists that it's not.
We do not need to enlist the help of a domestic droid with a head shaped like a genetically flawed lumpfish.
Okay, keep your H on.
Keep your H on.
I know that's how Brits say H, but it sounds weird to me.
Gentlemen, relax.
I'm not sure if I knew that at the time.
So of course this one was real and Starbug crashes again.
This old baby's crashed more times than a ZX-81.
Lister has to go outside to dig out
ZX-81.
Starbug. I guess now we're finally seeing the intended use of the bazookoids. Makes sense. Lister
Yeah.
is about to go back inside when...
Hi, Dave.
Suddenly he's not alone.
P-Trans's sister. Remember me, Dave?
I love how he doesn't know her name and only ever refers to her as P-Trans's sister.
Stay back, P-Trans's sister. I know what you want. Stay back, P-Trans's sister.
So funny.
Resist you anymore, P-Trans's sister.
He knows it's not really her, but he can't resist. So much ew. Fun fact, this scene involved a whole lot of KY jelly. You can
Ew.
buy it in buckets, apparently. Crichton rescues him,
Come on, Dave.
but his calling Lister Dave clues us into it being another siren.
I'm starting the engines.
Get back in here now!
On me way.
So it takes a while, but Lister gets back into Starbug. But one of the view screens shows Lister also being outside.
I'm afraid, sir, you're already here.
They don't want to let a siren on board, but there's a 50% chance that they already have one, and they can't risk losing Lister, so both Listers are let on board.
He's the siren, and I'm not.
This is easily the best split screen effect they've ever done on this show. So they run a few tests to figure out which one is the real Lister, while Kat stands by with a bazooka.
Ew.
The guitar.
If you look really closely, you can tell that those aren't Craig Charles's arms. They hide it pretty well, though. I didn't pick up on it until it was pointed out in the documentary. Craig Charles can play the guitar, just not this well. In any case, Kat blows him away, since obviously that's not Lister.
It's the way you believe you can play, sir. That's why when the siren read your mind, he shared your delusion that you are not a 10-thumb, tone-deaf, talentless noise polluter.
That's inconsistent with the one disguised as Crichton calling him Dave earlier, but oh well.
See, what's the difference? A little survival tip, bud. Never play your guitar in front of a man with a loaded gun.
But the siren wasn't dead and it got away while they were distracted.
Meteor storm off a starboard bow into Biggie.
So Crichton and Rimmer are going after the siren while Lister and Kat man the cockpit.
Excellent in all but one small detail. I think you know what it is. Bye.
Correction, only Crichton is going after the siren. This feels a bit like Aliens to me.
Please, there is no logic in trying to engage me in combat.
So Crichton is confronted by the siren, but claims that it can't do anything to him.
My creator.
Holy crap, it's Jenny Agutter. Apparently it's fairly common for well-known British actors to show up on Red Dwarf, but this is the only one that I've recognized right off the bat. In retrospect, I probably should have recognized Craig Ferguson in Confidence and Paranoia, but the tan and American accent threw me. Plus, I hadn't seen him in anything in a long time. I'm guessing Jenny Agutter is probably a lot more well-known in the UK. I mostly know her from An American Werewolf in London and Child's Play 2. Gotta love the boots they put her in.
What is the function of this illusion?
That was quite the outfit.
Coded into every cell in your body.
Anyway, it's true that Crichton cannot be seduced and doesn't have an organic brain, so the siren disguises itself as Crichton's creator and convinces him to get into the trash compactor.
Jenny smegging Agutter.
Sick, but actually pretty clever.
The meteor storm was another illusion. The siren's not as badly injured as we thought.
The rest of the crew shows up and finds Crichton missing. Rimmer's battery goes out, leaving only Lister and Kat left. They find a vending machine.
Oh yeah, I think I do vaguely remember
But
her
it
being
turns
in
out
the
to be a siren
NCU.
who promptly knocks them out and gets its straw ready. Meanwhile, Crichton is released
Straw.
from the trash compactor. The look on his face says it all.
I'm almost annoyed.
He sees that the siren
That's
is
so
just
funny.
below him, trying to decide whether to eat Lister's or Kat's brain first. and it meets a pretty undignified death by Crichton Cube. Speaking of Crichton Cube, in the meantime, he makes a pretty good table.
The cat has invited me to join him in the weekly crap.
I just noticed his face isn't in the center. It would have been easier to do it that way, but that's pretty neat little detail.
Game tonight.
He's gonna be the dice.
Approaching Nebula.
Well, let's see what's in there.
And so ends Sirens. This is a great episode, even if it takes a little while to really get going. I feel the need to point out the change in costumes this time around, since the series got such a big overhaul. Lister is now wearing a boiler suit, which is going to be a staple for a while. His clothing has always been pretty utilitarian, but this look is even more so. Rimmer's costume has remained almost the same for the last 3 seasons, with mainly only the color changing, but now it's gotten an overhaul as well. It's now a waist-length jacket with padded shoulders. Apparently Chris Berry didn't really care for it, but I think it flatters him. The color is still red, but that'll change soon. Of course, I'll talk more about cats in the next cat video, but it's probably going to be a much shorter segment than the earlier ones because his number of outfits has been greatly reduced, and they all involve the same base. Crichton's costume also got an overhaul because poor Robert Llewellyn couldn't sit down in the old one.
Oof.
Unfortunately, I don't think it looks as good since there's so much fabric now. It looks less robotic and more like someone in a costume, but oh well. And of course now they're in Starbug instead of Red Dwarf, which allows for a lot more exploration since instead of killing time until they eventually get back to Earth, they are now chasing Red Dwarf. Also, the Starbug set is obviously a lot smaller than the Red Dwarf set was, so that allows for more sets and therefore more locations. Season 6 is going to be all over the place in the best ways possible. As for this episode, we get a pretty cool enemy in concept and appearance, despite the straw. I guess they didn't want it to be too threatening, so they added that one bit of silliness. Either way, it's based off of a stag beetle. And of course, as mentioned by Lister, it's based on the concept of sirens from Greek mythology, who looked like gorgeous women, sometimes depicted as bird-like or mermaid-like, who sat on the shore and lured men to their deaths. Probably as an allegory about getting distracted from your goals. The sirens in Red Dwarf send messages to lure them out of Starbug. That's a pretty interesting way to reference how sirens in Greek mythology lured their victims with song. This is one of those episodes that I caught before I really got into the series myself. I walked in while my husband was watching it.
Be quiet!
And Crichton waddling around as a giant cube with that indignant look on his face was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. I guess that's about all I have to say about this episode. There isn't a whole lot to analyze. It's mostly just a lot of fun and action, which is fine. It gets season 6 off to a great start. Next up is Legion. See you then.
Ooh, Legion.
Like with Ulysses and that ancient Turkish legend.
I believe the legend was Greek, sir.
Whatever, some country big on curly shoes and humus.
Okay, let me get caught up on the chat. And then we'll watch, I guess, one more, unless Gunmen of the Apocalypse is coming after this. I don't think Gunmen of the Apocalypse is that early. I bet Polymorph 2 is first. Princess of books. I always figured she's a princess of friendship. Whenever I solve a crossword puzzle at my parents' house that they hadn't been able to do themselves, I always insist on saying, smug mode. You couldn't remember Siren's Flash? I'm surprised. I'm surprised anybody couldn't forget that episode. Well, Rimmer could make himself look like Kachansky, so those other alternate forms don't surprise me. Yeah, but, like, Kachansky's a person, and a person who was on the ship. Why would they have a T-Rex? Wasn't one of them a shark, too? How the hell would that work? Sirens, the soft reboot of the Red Dwarf for the new viewers, yep. I only noticed in recent years, but the urine recycle machine is in the back of the kitchen with a transparent tank on top of it full of orange liquid. Ew. I feel like, I don't know if... I feel like maybe I noticed that at some point and then I forgot. I don't like the material of Rimmer's costume in this season. And 7, it looks better again in season 10 onward. Too much asparagus. Oh. These Space Corps directives are awfully specific. I know. I love it. They're so dumb. I thought scent didn't travel in a vacuum. It doesn't. I talk about that a little more in the cat video. Excuse me, I just need to get the mental image of King Kong's dump of the day out of my head. Yeah. That's what I meant by more reliant on recurring gags in Series 6. I still think they're funny, though. I remember when we were playing Panzer Dragoon Saga and Gash mentioned the message left by a friend in his own blood. I was reminded of this episode. Someone who badly needed a pen. I remember that. And also, yeah, Stanley's death from It. They knew exactly how to get to Cat. Captain Tao is Anita Dobson, the wife of Queen guitarist Brian May. Oh, that's cool. I feel like I've heard that before. I just forgot. If she was somebody, I remember hearing she was somebody's wife. Sorry, tiny bit of that water went down the wrong pipe. So I remember hearing that Craig Charles complained that Crichton and Rimmer got romance, so he wanted some action, and for his sins he got this. Yeah, I remember that. Brits do refer to a period as a full stop, so that's another case where Kat's American accent felt incongruous. Yeah, he speaks an American accent, but he still uses all the British terminology. Some of us say H, others say H, depends on whereabouts in the country you come from. Ah, okay. Some of us here also refer to herbs as herbs. I love that Lister can tell it's not Crichton by calling him Dave, when Crichton in Series 2 called him Mr. Dave, sir. Well, I mean, that's different though, isn't it? Mr. Dave, sir is different than just calling him Dave. Mr. David, sir is different than calling him Dave. The classic do a bunch of tests to see who's the real one trope. Yeah, there was a Transformers episode, I think it was called A Prime Problem, where they had to do that, and like, you'd think the guy who forgot Ironhide's name was the fake, but nope, they had to have him do a bunch of physical shit. That was really stupid. I love Transformers G1, but that episode kind of bothered me a little bit. Clearly, the real Prime will have the best aim and win the race. Whatever. I still think that Cat high-fiving himself is the best split screen. Oh, yeah, I guess so. Everybody's talking about Jenny Agutter. And to think that a woman resembling Jenny Agutter got jilted at the altar. Good point. Who did she play in Child's Play 2? She was the foster mom. I'm almost annoyed, another phrase I use sometimes. Yeah, I can see you saying that. It is funny that I really love the actor who played Hitler in Cured. Funny how he was the cage head guy in Bloodborne and the helper to the leader guy in the Hobbit series of movies. Yeah. Hell, I still don't recognize Craig Ferguson, mostly because he lost like 40 pounds since the time he was on Red Dwarf. I'm also partially face blind. Yeah, I mostly just know him from the Drew Carey show, so... And I don't even know how long it had been since I saw that, so... He did have a late night talk show over here, but I never watched it. I think I caught it one time and I was like, oh, the guy from Drew Carey has a talk show. Okay. I love how he's clearly walking in that big block. It makes it funnier. Yeah. I remember Robert Llewellyn saying that was hard to film because like the bottoms of his shoes kept sticking to the floor and it was really hard. Like they wouldn't slide, they would catch on the floor. In a Red Dwarf JRPG, Crichton's Crichton Cube would deal severe damage on one enemy. I'm glad someone appreciated me photoshopping a straw into the hand of a stag beetle. Yep, still got the Channel Awful logo. I don't remember where I was in this series when I left Channel Awesome, so I have no idea at what point I stopped showing that at the end. Photoshop, they always have a straw on the ready. Oh, Gunman is before? Oh, okay. Gunman is after Legion? Oh, crap. Well, I guess I guess it'll inspire me to, like, start with a really good one next week. Yeah, I can stand to hold off on Gunman until next week. So we'll watch Legion, and then that'll be it. I'd like to end before 4 o'clock if possible, but since I went so late yesterday, but whatever. However it works out, I can deal with it. Excuse me. Yeah, now that you guys have said it, I do remember that Gunman is after Legion. Ah, you didn't remember the amnesia bit at the start. Yeah, that's understandable. You think of sirens, you think of the big bug monsters. You don't necessarily think of Lister waking up after 200 years. I'm surprised there wasn't a chicken in the holograms section given Rimmer's cowardly nature. That would have been a fun joke to play on him. Just stick him in the body of a chicken. I've met chickens that can best any Green Beret. Yeah, I've heard roosters can be aggressive. We are Rimmer, we always have a pen. That's a great bit. A great bit. Speaks with an American accent but uses British terminology, literally me. I used to know a lady who was American and she was married to a British guy, and she would sometimes pronounce words the way he did, and it drove me crazy. Like instead of garage, she would say garage. Crichton looked ready to give that siren the old British knuckles. God damn it. We must have a race. I like to think Optimus just doesn't know Ironhide's name, and this is just his chance to be passive-aggressive about it. Oh, that's so funny. He calls him Bumblebee even, which is fucking hilarious. Like, you wouldn't think that the little yellow guy was Bumblebee. How do you get those two confused? Calling Bumblebee Cliff Jumper, that's a little more understandable. Calling Ironhide Bumblebee. I've seen Transformers G1 way too many times. I think I know every line of dialogue. Now I have an image of Bumblebee saying, "Play the guitar." Oh, hey, George. You just caught the tail end, but there's a little bit more to go here. It's maybe my only comment is I will be listening. P.S. Love Jenny Agutter, class actress. We must give you each Vindaloo cornflakes and see who's actually enjoying it. That's a good one. They should have done that with Lister. I think I remember Jenny Agutter in Avengers 1 and Captain America 2 as the councilwoman. We never got resolution with her since she didn't die with the Otherworld Council security members. Oh, my throat's getting tired. I watched his talk show a lot. There was a lot of fun because he kind of completely rejected the traditional format, but Craig Ferguson's supposed to get a new talk show soon, I read. Oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll actually watch this one. I'm still working at home, so this keeps me sane right back to it. Yeah. I hear that. I don't listen to streams at work normally, but I do listen to videos. Craig Ferguson was my favorite late show talk show host. Oh, yes, I'll do Gunmen next week, if only just for you, Flash. Legion is a fun episode. Mouth sprays, come on. Oh, you mean using chloroseptic? Okay, I thought you were saying I spray when I talk. I was like, that was rude. I didn't remember the amnesia bit at the start. Interesting bit of irony there. It's funny that we pronounce it garage when the word garage is French. Oh yeah, good point. He also used to say oregano instead of oregano, and I fucking hated that. I'm like, bitch, I'm Italian. I know how to say oregano. I must ask, when you do end up doing My Little Pony vlog streams, how many episodes would you do each stream? I don't know. Well, probably about the same as I've been with the Red Dwarf ones, because they're roughly the same length. I would always shoot for like roughly 10 minutes long for these videos. Garage is how we pronounce garage in the UK. Or garage. Optimus Prime even called Trailbreaker Trailblazer, which is better than when they had to call him Trail Cutter for trademark reasons. Oh, that's funny. How about a Transformers G1 retrospective? I would love to. I've been meaning to do it forever. Oh, I should, can I find this easily? There was a thing I made that I put on Facebook. I think I reposted it recently. It came up in my... This is just my Facebook page that I think anyone can see. Well, I think you have to be friends with me to see it, but it's not like I mind if any of you guys see it. No, that's not it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it doesn't link directly to it. Here, check out this. I was intending to make a Transformers retrospective like a decade ago, and I even made an opening sequence for it, and I never did anything with it. Here we go. Since I know most of you don't follow me on Facebook. Okay, stop. Ah, stop! Oh. Oh, thank you. Oh, TD421298. That's an interesting name you've got there. I never forget a pizza, but rent is cool too. No pressure, but when will Silent Hill 3 come back? Well, the thing is, like I was saying earlier, I think the Elgato stopped working, or at least it wasn't working last time I tried to use it, so I'm not sure. I would love to continue Silent Hill 3, but... I can't really play console games right now. Little survival tip, bud. Never play a guitar in front of a transformer with a loaded gun. I was all set to do a cat impression and it went off in a tangent there. Not tangent, but went off in a different direction. No, I don't mean you spray spit at all. Where did that come from? I don't know, that was just how I interpreted it when I first read it, just for a second. If only so we can get to hear your full thoughts on a Prime problem. Yeah. Also, would the Derpygate Creepypasta and Boastbuster Revisit videos be included? Oh yeah, of course. They're all on the playlist, I'm pretty sure. I know the official Hasbro Pulse has the full series on YouTube to watch for free. Yeah, for free, but they probably... Yeah, I feel like they'd be hard on Transformers. I don't know. I feel like I'd get dinged for copyright because they want people watching it on their own YouTube. I don't think we even call it oregano in the UK, but don't quote me on that. There's so many vegetables where I have no idea what they are in either UK or American English. Yeah. Nice intro, thank you. I'm pretty proud of it. I thought it turned out really good. Just like I said, I just never used it. Rimmer versus Starscream, except Rimmer would just bail at the opening bell. The actor that plays Legion was in an episode of Keeping Up Appearances. He only had a couple of lines, but I recognized him straight away just by his voice. Oh, that's funny. Excuse me. That was me. I couldn't put Tyjan Dean into my username. Oh, okay, well, thank you. I had enough trouble using... Oh, God. I had enough trouble learning how to use Twitter, plus when I tried to open a Facebook account, it wouldn't let me use the name Special Iron. Oh, yeah. That or watch you rip Bot a new one. Oh, God, Bot is such a bad episode, and it's the last episode of Season 2. That's a crime. That is an absolute crime. Season 2 was the peak of Transformers G1, but they ended it on Bot. Look, there's Rarity's career going down in flames. Isn't it friendship magic? What? Isn't friendship magic? Rarity's career going down in flames. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Hasbro don't seem as hard on content relating to Transformers as My Little Pony. I would love it if I could cover Transformers and not get dinged for copyright, like, at least not super easily. Maybe I'll just fuck around with uploading a full episode of it, and, like, privately and see what happens. Because that was one of the things, I mean, I don't have much time for stuff like that right now, but, like, one of the things keeping me from talking about Transformers is, Hasbro just, oh, that's another thing. If I stream My Little Pony, like, Hasbro's gonna monetize all of them. But whatever. I can fight it, I guess. There are apps and browser plugins that will let you sync playback on YouTube for watch parties. Interesting. So you could be on cam and let everyone stream it from the official YouTube channel to watch along. Yeah, I've heard of people doing watch-alongs in that way, where everyone has to watch it on their own, kinda, but I'm not sure how it works. And I don't know how many people would be into that. You know, because they'd have to do, you know, extra work. Yeah, we do call it oregano here, but it's also known as wild majoram. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Pajama Critic. That's awesome. Good luck keeping your landlord at bay. Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, I could probably pay rent a little bit late and it wouldn't be the end of the world, but they tried to sue us over something that we paid that they said we didn't. And I'm just worried about rocking the boat a little bit. It was a Rarity quote during one of her drama queen moments. Oh, okay. I don't remember, I guess. Oh God, Carnage in C minor. You guys are just bringing up all the bad Transformers episodes. It's an utter technical disaster, while Dweller in the Depths is pretty good, and by Paul Dini, no less. Dweller in the Depths, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's a season 3 episode, but I don't remember which one it is. God, yeah, Carnage in C minor, like that episode literally could not have been worse. Also, I'm shocked Rarity only knew one spell, being the gem finding spell, she really only used her magic for levitation of items like scissors, fabric, measuring shape clothing, the usual, yeah. Ooh, my throat's getting tired again. Just do it the way G2 handles the G1 episodes, put them in Cybercube. That was funny. Sounds like a fun landlord. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, a landlord like that wouldn't be my landlord for long. Yeah, trust me, we want to move badly, but we just can't afford it, and it's really hard finding places that have any openings right now. Plus, it'd be a way to also include fun post-edit trivia, like miscolored characters becoming their own character's reality background, generics becoming a part of the lore, like Acid Storm. I don't know that I'd necessarily pick up on those things. Apparently everyone wants to hear your thought on the bad episodes. Yeah. Of all the worst things that could happen while streaming, that is the worst possible thing. I love Rarity, man. Rarity is best pony. Alright, that's one more episode. Let's watch Legion. God, my throat is so sore.
10 o'clock changeover. Anything to report?
Well, they're running out of resources again, including food, since a lot of it has been eaten by space weevils.
Is that the urine recyc? I think I kind of see it.
I bet at times like this, Rimmer is glad he doesn't eat.
You'll never get him to eat it. Trust me, sir. It's all down to presentation. Et voila!
But now it's dinner time for Lister.
What's this? Sir? Raw carrot.
He doesn't even notice the weevil, but carrots are where he draws the line.
How's supper, Listy?
It's delicious. They've never had any crunchy king prawn left.
But it's interrupted when Kat has detected something outside. So Rimmer wants to go to Blue Alert, but Lister doesn't see the point.
I would just feel more comfortable if I know that we're all on our toes because everyone's aware it's a Blue Alert situation.
We all are on our toes.
Rimmer counters by quoting a Space Corps directive.
No officer with false teeth should attempt oral sex in zero
gravity. And that goes where you would expect.
Damn you both, all the way to Hades. I want to go to
Blue Alert.
In the end, Rimmer gets his way. Congratulations, I guess.
Thank you. Bit of professionalism.
In any case, Crichton detects something on his monitor.
Too small for the vessel, maybe some kind of missile.
Get ready for a classic line.
The Red Alert gang. Oh, here it is.
Sir, are you absolutely sure? It does mean changing the bulb.
That's just funny on multiple levels.
May I recommend I load myself into the reverse thrust tubes and you use my body as decoy fodder?
Crichton, stop your blathering and get in the damn tube.
But of course they don't let him. Just not for the reason you might think.
I'm not doing my own smacking ironing.
And now Rimmer's going to try to communicate.
That's such a good line.
Broadcast on all known frequencies and in all known languages, including Welsh. This is Acting Senior Officer Arnold J. Rimmer. We surrender, totally without condition. Thank you, guys. Additional, sorry to take up your valuable time. Sorry. Thank you, sorry, bye. It is my firm conviction that in all my previous lives, I've been a soldier.
Except for the one where you were a eunuch.
Who tragically in this incarnation has been given the body of an abject coward. So excuse me, gentlemen, while I have a humiliating panic attack under the scanner table.
That's why we love you, Rimmer.
Hand onto your wage packets!
So they're about to collide with it, but they end up unharmed and only grabbed by a kind of tractor beam. And this is where the whole budget for Season 6 went. Seriously, though, it looks pretty cool.
So what have we got?
So now Starbug is on a space
TF
station,
Wiki
but
has
they
you
can't find
covered,
out
yeah.
anything about it other than the fact that top secret scientific research was going on at some point, but they don't know what.
Listen to some of the physicists involved. Heidegger, Davro, Holder, Quayle, some of the most brilliant minds of the 23rd century.
Quayle.
But since it seems abandoned, they go to see if there's anything they can scavenge. Kat seems to sense something approaching.
I love Season 6 Cat. I wish he had stayed like that.
Wasn't there before.
Welcome, my friends. It has been many centuries since I last had visitors.
Then this weird guy shows up, and he seems to know who they all are.
May I? Now then.
He immediately starts fiddling with Rimmer's light bee, pulls out a bunch of wire, replaces it with something smaller.
You'd better have a mighty damn fine explanation for what you've just done, Menadio.
And just like that, Rimmer is a hard light hologram now.
I can touch?
Puncture repair kit on standby, sir.
There's another reference to Rimmer's glow-up doll. But I love how this just happened so quickly and out of nowhere, and yet it's such a game changer. It was a huge pain having Rimmer unable to touch anything. It was one of those things that the creators had to constantly plan around. And it was easy to mess up, and they occasionally just kind of broke the rule for the sake of the plot or a gag. And now they don't have to worry about it anymore. Also,
He's
Rimmer's
blue,
signature
Dabba
color is now
Dabba
blue,
Die.
and it's going to stay that way for the rest of the series. It's also kind of funny to think that Rimmer almost predicted this.
Aliens, Lister, who can give me a real body.
In season 1, he was obsessed with the idea that someday technologically advanced aliens would give him a new body. And that's sort of what just happened. This guy isn't an alien, but he is technologically advanced, odd-looking, and they found him in space, so he does give off that vibe.
You, my friend, are Lister.
How come you know who we all are?
Anyway, he senses that Lister needs an operation, and Lister has his appendix taken out a second time.
As I thought, you're on the verge of peritonitis.
Cheers, man.
Come, let us die.
Just hands it to him.
Call me Legion.
So it turns out that Rimmer is able to do anything
Aliens.
that he can do, including eat. Plus, despite having pain receptors, he is virtually indestructible. Meanwhile, Crichton notices that the dining hall has pieces of art that Legion made a long time ago.
I was a different person then.
So after Legion leaves for a bit, Rimmer talks about how great it would be to have him come with them.
Legion with his scientific genius, intellect, culture, and sophistication, and us with our red alert bulb.
Lister doesn't think that Legion
Red
would
alert
agree to
bulb.
it, but Rimmer thinks that if they can trick him into thinking they're more intelligent and cultured than they actually are, they can get him on board, and by the time he finds out, it'll be too late.
Many is the night we while away the wee hours contemplating a Caravaggio, discussing its shape, themes, and form.
The point is, stick game doesn't get a look in anymore.
This is definitely a Rimmer plan, and it goes about as well as any Rimmer plan would.
A Rimmer plan.
The light switch.
I couldn't buy it then.
Not really. I needed to turn the lights on and off. Let the meal begin.
So of course they're eating this exotic food with these weird complicated utensils and pretending that they know how to use them.
I'm sorry, of course. Not all of you can use Mimosian antimatter chopsticks.
Crichton actually does know how to use them in theory, but even he is having trouble with it.
The trick is, of course, to never, ever allow live sticks to touch. But of course, we all know that.
And now that Rimmer is basically solid, of course he's going to end up covered in food. So since dinner isn't going so well, Rimmer tries to put his cards on the table and invite Legion to join them.
In all our travels, we've met precisely 31 individuals, and we've never felt moved to invite a single one to join our crew. True, most of them wanted in some way to suck out our brains. We feel that you, like us, have the courage and the dignity it takes to make it as a dwarfer.
Followed by him being pelted with nearly all of the food on the table.
Mr. Rimmer, I am moved by the eloquence of your invitation.
Legion is flattered, but he graciously refuses.
Don't cross the live
So Crichton
streams.
mentions that they may as well leave.
Nonsense. You will be my honored guests from now until the day you die.
32.
So Legion is keeping them forever, but he is giving them everything they want, outside of freedom.
All your favorite music, all your favorite movies.
What about company? What about people?
There is a cyber park in the complex. You may go to any time period of your choosing and indulge any fantasy you wish.
And Legion says something kind of telling before he leaves.
They are falling asleep. I must go.
What does he want from us? Why is he so obsessed with fulfilling our every desire?
At breakfast the next morning, they talk about it and wonder what Legion is up to.
When I finally get round to writing my good psycho guide, this place is going to get raves.
Hi, Big Buddha.
First class, resident nutter, courteous and considerate. Psycho rating's got to be 4.5 chainsaws.
Crichton reminds everyone that no matter how great it is to live there, they need to find a way out so they don't lose ground on Red Dwarf.
And why is he so keen on keeping us happy?
Is it possible that our well-being is in some way linked to his own?
I think I've got a way of getting out of here. Has anyone ever seen Revenge of the Surfboarding Killer Bikini Vampire Girls?
So Lister has a plan inspired by a movie he likes.
You truly believed I would be deceived by that schlock plan.
But it doesn't work out because Legion knows everything about Lister, including his taste in movies. Lister doesn't manage to hurt him, but he succeeds in knocking his mask off, revealing his face, which is an amalgam of that of all 4 Red Dwarf members.
I just want you to be happy.
After he knocks out Lister, you'll notice that the Lister part of his face is now missing.
Now look what you made me do.
So it turns out that Legion is made up of a combination of them.
My name is Legion, for we are many. The whole becomes far greater than the sum of its parts.
And now he won't let them leave because if they do, he'll cease to exist.
Without you, my friends, I am quite literally nothing.
However, he is capable of hurting them.
I'm capable of quite insanely irrational behavior.
And he demonstrates.
The next hint of insurrection, and the scalpel ends up here.
The artwork came from an earlier incarnation of Legion.
I was host to the 5 most brilliant minds of their generation. They were experimenting in collective intelligence. I was the product of that research.
But they eventually died of old age and he ceased to exist.
Just a mindless essence swirling around the remnants of my achievements, waiting to exist again.
So Crichton has a theory that if he knocks out the rest of the crew, Legion will get weak enough that Crichton can handle him.
Permission to lay you out, sir. Do what you gotta, but don't mess up my head. Thank you.
So now Legion is just half Rimmer and half Crichton. Except that it turns out that Rimmer is surprisingly hard to knock out.
I think Crichton's enjoying this a little bit.
And this scene is amazing.
I think you're right, sir. Sorry, I just thought if I took you unawares.
But it turns out that Rimmer can extract his own light bee and turn it off. So now Legion is just Crichton.
Since the only ingredients in your psyche are mine, you are in fact compelled to assist our safe passage to Starbug.
Crichton can be so awesome when it comes down to it. Logic wins out in the end.
In many ways, I am relieved to have shared their psyches, their neuroses, their strange drives. Returning to a limbo state of non-existence seems like promotion.
Later, Crichton has gotten some kind of machine from Legion that is supposed to help them locate Red Dwarf.
We'll be able to catch up with Red Dwarf in a matter of nanoseconds.
Everyone is genre savvy about it except for Crichton.
Sirs, haven't we learned over the past 2 days that if we all pull together, we can become greater than the sum of our parts?
It looks like it's actually about to work. Until it launches itself into the air and blows a hole in Starbug.
It does work!
And so ends Legion. This is another one of those episodes I love. I pretty much love all of Season 6, to be honest. And I guess this is one of those episodes I have in mind when I compare Red Dwarf to Star Trek. Something about how a lot of the key scenes take place on the bridge, and there's exploration that involves discovering a new life until something goes horribly wrong. Though it really feels more like a parody of Star Trek with how everyone is genre savvy about it. As for Legion, he's a great villain. Granted, the green spandex suit is kind of cheesy, and the actor doesn't quite have the physique to pull it off, but that Buddha-looking face with the oval-shaped mouth that doesn't move is really kind of creepy, and that velvety voice that can sound legitimately threatening at times. All of that kind of makes up for it. Honestly, the first time I saw this, I was so distracted with the latter that I almost didn't even notice the former. And when the mask is removed, revealing the composite face underneath, yeah, it's not a totally convincing effect, but it still looks pretty cool. It's got Rimmer's forehead, Cat's mouth, and the eye and cheek on either side is Crichton and Lister. He's also kind of a neat little metaphor about how the Red Dwarf crew is more than the sum of its parts. That's almost a My Little Pony-like lesson. But this is Red Dwarf, so of course things don't work out in the end. I guess that's about all I have to say about this one.
The face.
Next up is Gunmen of the Apocalypse. See you then.
Gunmen of the Apocalypse. I waited the whole fucking series to talk about that one. Channel awkward.
You have a connoisseur, Chip? Just because I look like Herman Munster's stuntman doesn't mean to say I can't appreciate art, sir.
That's a great line. Okay. Alright, let me get caught up on the chat and then I'll wrap up. Lister will literally eat anything except carrots. I love the bait and switch of Lister being more disgusted by the vegetables than the Space Weevil. Yeah, that's a cute bit. You'd be surprised how many characters has been created from random background generics. Acid Storm is that green rainstorm seeker from Divide and Conquer. Oh yeah, I remember that guy. Divide and Conquer is one I saw a lot because I had it on a VHS tape when I was a kid. His name came from a 2008 Universe 2.0 toy. It does mean changing the bulb. That's such a great line. Oh, the Red Alert gag probably sums up how shit everything is on Starbug best. Yeah, it does. Including Welsh. Broadcast on all frequencies and all languages, including Welsh. Yes, Mario Dude, we've been talking about Transformers. I can't remember how we... Oh, I remember how. I was talking about the Prime problem because of the bit with the two listers in Sirens got me thinking about it. I guess there's a Guelph civilization that speaks entirely Welsh. Legion feeling up Rimmer. For science. You come anywhere near me, bud, and you'll be wearing those bowels as a bobble hat. Doesn't ask for permission, just reaches into Rimmer and takes his light bee. That's a good point. Kind of violated his autonomy there, didn't he? Rimmer went from Star Trek red shirt to a more cowardly and idiotic Spock. Now Lister's had his appendix out twice. Yep. Wouldn't that make Legion a hologram diddler? No, that's silly. Why would we introduce a new main character? We'd totally never do that. Don't cross the streams. I'm surprised I didn't say that in this video. I was thinking it just now. When I first saw this episode, I thought the sculpture was the light switch until on rewatches I finally saw the light switch. I remember in the A to Z of Red Dwarf, if the dwarfers hadn't been too polite to ask for a fork, they might have actually tasted some of their meal. Yeah, good point. Sugar puff sandwiches. Popular fan theory is that Lister had his appendix regenerated in DNA when he was turned back into a human. There's too many fan theories. Am I the only one who picked up on the fact that this is the first and I think the only time Rimmer or any of them referred to the group as dwarfers? I think Rimmer says dwarfers in season 10. But yeah, this probably is the first time he said it. Yeah, before then they just said boys from the dwarf. Interesting. Legion is genuinely creepy. Yeah, he is. Something about that frozen Buddha face creeps me out a little, along with his voice. Legion, that kind of tough talk doesn't scare us. Yes, it does. Permission to lay you out, sir. Bonk harder, bonk harder. Tougher than Vindaloo mutton. Ah. I love how during this whole scene, Legion doesn't try to get at them whatsoever. That's true. Was he maybe, like, temporarily unconscious or recovering from something? I forget. I feel like there might have been a reason for it, even if it wasn't, you know, perfect. I'm trying to think, you rubber-headed eunuch. There's the word eunuch again. I remember in a previous stream someone asked what a eunuch was. Crichton trying to knock Rimmer out was another scene that had me in tears when I first saw it. Yeah, same here. Hit him till candy comes out, Crichton. By the way, knocking out the other crew members was technically helping them. So he wasn't violating his programming. Yeah, good point. It does work. The difference is, in My Little Pony, they'd write a letter spelling out exactly what they learned this episode. Yeah. Oh. I think it works well that he doesn't have the physique, as it makes him less foreboding and menacing looking when he's introduced. Yeah. Oh, hi, Miriam. I had an image of Worf using the Herman Munster line once. Yeah, Transformers is kind of like how Star Wars has a backstory for every single character you see in a show or movie. Oh yeah, the two listers should have had a race to see who was the real one. And the writers came up with a clever way to just stop having to worry about consistency with Rimmer touching things. Yeah, it's about freaking time, isn't it? Okay, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the donations. I got, I think, about a third of what I was hoping for, but I appreciate it. Oh, less. Never mind. That was wrong, but that's okay. I appreciate what I got anyway. Yeah, I guess that's about it. I can't, wow, the chat actually stopped. That's unusual. So yeah, I'll be back doing this next week. Next week is not going to be another mega stream. That's just a one weekend thing. God damn it, it's been a fun weekend banger of a stream. Yeah, it has. Yeah, I will be back, next week doing this for 2 or 3 hours or whatever, or next Saturday around 1 or 2 p.m. like usual. Thank you for these videos. Have a great week. You too, George. We go. I forgot about that. Photo finish. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. So again, thanks for joining me, and I hopefully